Welcome to the latest episode of Pubcast Plays Dungeons and Dragons. We are back. We are back. We are back.
Finally.
We had an extended break because the world is on fire, but it seems to have calmed down slightly for most of us. But we're still doing this socially distanced and from our homes. So welcome to the latest episode of Pubcast Plays Dungeons and Dragons. I'm your DM Wayne, and here's the ensemble cast. As straight off the bat, you'll notice that Naomi is not with us. They will be joining us hopefully on the next episode. But unfortunately, they had to go off and do their day job because people need Naomi to do their day job right now. Allegedly. But they will be joining us hopefully on the next episode. But for the time being, Ryan is going to do Loran or play Loran. Who knows what's going to happen before the end of this. So we're going to basically go through a recap and talk about what happened on the last episode. As always, we are brought to you by Dublin City Comics, who sponsored us, have continued to be our sponsorship as we play through these sessions. We have our giveaway that people have entered. Thank you very much for entering. The Icewind Dale Rime of the Frost Maiden will be our giveaway book for this episode. We were announcing the winner of that. And we also have a copy of, I'm going to do this thing, ding, of Tasha's Guide to Everything. Tasha, I think that's what it's called, isn't it? Tasha's Guide to Everything.
Tasha's Cauldron of Everything.
Tasha's, what the hell is it called? I'm going to have the list here. I'm looking at my thing. Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. That's it. Yeah. So this basically that was going to be the prize for this month's episode, and we will be giving you the question for that when we announce the winner of the Icewind Dale book. So without further ado, let's go jump straight into it. From the last episode, the group had been in Terrace Moor and had kind of finally all met up together and rejoined as a group, including the monk Talazar, who was back in the fold after being off learning new tricks, and also has a new prosthetic arm and looks very shiny and new. He comes back to the fold, gives them information about who an individual they thought was once their enemy, Vestivus, the former king of Terrace Moor. So they've made their way to Terrace Moor. Made their way from Terrace Moor after meeting Vestivus, and he explained the situation to them that the evil sorcerer Duval is actually trying to control this reality. It's a pocket universe that they all exist in, which they all seem to have taken quite well. But they all now exist within this pocket universe of this individual's making. They had struck a deal with a lesser spider god called Scradic to be given ultimate power to alter reality. And in order to, and when they received that power, this is the universe they created. They took a large chunk of the realms and brought it to this pocket universe. And for as far as the group are concerned, this has existed within its own bubble for hundreds of years. At this point then, they were said, we know where this guy is. He's in the former town of Breshton, which he's now turning into his stronghold, using the red crystalline power that seems to be infecting the kingdom to turn Breshton into something else. They leave Terrace Moor with Vestivus in tow and make their way there. As they reach the outskirts of the town, they crest up over the hill and they look down and they see that the hole in the ground that was Breshton is now what looks like a giant crystalline town that's overgrown and taken in the former town and turned it into kind of a collection of what look like just the Fortress of Solitude from Superman, but they're all giant red crystals, and it is stretched across the landscape of the town. They are standing about half a day's journey just outside the town in the surrounding forest area, and that's where we're going to pick up from this month's episode. So you find yourselves looking down on the town of Breshton, which is about half a day's journey ahead of you. You know what lies ahead. Well, you think you know what lies ahead. The town is giant crystalline forms twisting and punctured through the ground, stretching up into the air, into the sky. You see crackling arcane energy just sizzling around the entire area. Any magic users in the group, you feel the energy hit you. Norman in particular, because from your previous experience in this town, you remember that there seemed to be an element of planar energy involved in whatever this is.
Hmm.
And you not being from this particular realm of existence, know that is key to you getting home. And that will be the same for Loran. Loran might feel it as well, because of their limited magic sense. It does hit them slightly as well. So it's a case of anyone that has magic abilities, like Ogun can feel it as well in the air, particularly in the surrounding forest, Ogun, because the surrounding forest, the wildlife are all skitterish. You can feel the fear emanating from the forest. And you know that this is not natural. This is an abomination upon this land. So, what did the group want to do at this point?
Pack, I've been thinking about where we are and whatnot, and looking down at the city that we're about to go in. I'd like to try and see if I can get us more help.
What do you mean more help, Ogun? Like animal help?
Yeah, well, help. Yes.
Are you going to speak to the wildlife?
We're all affected by this evil that's in the land. So I was thinking on our journey here that maybe I could, since we're in the forest, we could venture in a little bit more, and I could see about spreading the word about what's going on, and see if we can get more aid. If you think we have time.
I don't think having more numbers is a bad idea, Ogun. How do you feel about this red stuff?
It's not natural. It's made me uncomfortable for quite some time, as it's done everyone else. But it's over time that I've seen the effect and realized it's not natural. It shouldn't be here. So I think it's about time I kind of help and do something about it. So since we're, for the first time in a long time, back in a forest, I could at least try.
I'm all for you getting more help, Ogun, and more information from anybody you can.
Yeah.
Or any creature you can.
What does Loran think?
Loran is just like looking. Loran is just like looking around, and he's like, "Bit of shit here, isn't it?"
Well, there is. You just stepped in. Well, you can see.
Oh, for fuck's sake! And he like wipes his shoe on Ogun.
It's like Naomi's in the room.
I just made it worse though, because there was already a lump there.
And while Loran is like wiping his shoe on Ogun, Norman is just like watching.
Vestivus kind of steps forward, and it is like he's not really paying attention to what the conversation is, and he's standing on just at the kind of the crest of the hill you're on, looking down onto the landscape, and he kind of his accoutrements have gone away, but he kind of twists his hand in the air, and his staff just appears, and he kind of cracks it on the ground ever so slightly, and you see a crystal at the top of the staff kind of and you feel the energy hit you, and he just starts looking around and turns back. He's like, I am going to investigate this a bit further by myself. I advise caution. If you wish, he turns to Ogun. Little furry man, if you wish to find allies in this vicinity, I suggest you do it soon, for this is growing. And he points down towards the village of Breshton where it was. It will soon overtake this entire area. And without even saying anything else, his hand twists in the air and he polymorphs into an eagle and is gone off into the air. Gone.
Ooh, that's cool.
And you just see him, the eagle just shoots off into the distance, flying out and over the ruins of Breshton. So, Ogun, do you want to make your way into the forest?
Yeah, I want to. If it's, I have. Well, you're already saying we can sense the fear, so I'm kind of thinking that the more that grows, the more where there might be creatures of the forest and other beings, maybe magical beings like myself, like could be in there somewhere. So I want to venture in until I get a good feeling that I'm kind of in the center, or I have a large enough audience. If you get me, because I know that the animals, because of the pack, they'll be kind of scared as it is and scared of us, so they're not going to be, just sitting there. But just anywhere that I can sense, it's a good place to kind of do some things. So.
Okay. So is everyone following? Are you all going with him?
I'm happy to kind of.
I'll go.
I'm happy to have Talazar kind of stay at the crest of the hill where Festivus was, just kind of keep him watch.
I'll go with you, Ogun, and equip the battle axe.
Okay.
I will not. I will not accompany you, but I will use my considerable magical might to give you a boon. And I use my summon bee cantrip, which creates a single bee. It's just a regular bee, but Ogun can talk to it.
Aww.
Okay.
Thank you. Hello,
You're
bee.
welcome. The bee only Ogun can understand the bee though, because it can't actually speak.
Okay. So Ogun can converse with the bee, and the bee can converse with Ogun?
It's in every other way, shape and form. It is an ordinary bee.
Grand so. Okay. So the bee you see the bee start to buzz around Ogun, and any kind of floral arrangements he has on his person, the bee kind of starts hovering around them and
I'll use Druidcraft to kind of make one of the flowers that are on me slightly more pollinated and whatnot, so I can sit on it.
So you just see that there's a kind of a large kind of a daisy type flower just blossoms on the kind of the shoulder of Ogun's tunic, and the bee kind of just nestles itself in and starts tunneling in looking for pollen and the likes.
I really need to get better flowers, so I'm just covered with weeds.
So
go to better places.
Norman also needs to learn what the phrase considerable power means. But thanks for that.
Well, if you
I think that's pretty awesome.
If you really wanted to know, that's only half the amount of bees I can control at once.
Who was that half power? I like it.
That's only me at 50% power.
It's not unlimited power.
This is just
the most
Norman.
I ever get is 4.
This is Norman just behaving himself, so it's fine.
Classic
behaving himself? Nothing?
Yeah, no, I got it.
Nothing at all?
Oh, I got it. I didn't laugh, but I got it.
Yeah.
Take a dad point.
Yeah.
Click.
Okay, so Codeine, Aratir, and Ogun are making their way into the forest area. They're kind of off the beaten track and start moving into the woods. Norman, Loran, and Talazar, I take it you're staying put? Is Loran staying put as well?
Oh, I'm not going into the fucking woods.
Cool. So the trio stay kind of. The trio that are staying on the path overlooking the town? Are you doing anything in particular, or?
I just wanted to try and, from a place of hiding, try and just scan the town to see if there's any movement, any kind of people around.
Roll a perception check for me, please.
Natural 20. First roll of the game.
Jesus. Straight in,
so
no kissing on that one.
So that would be a total for 26.
26.
Wow.
Tell me what your monk eyes see. As you kind of crouch on the crest of the hill and you kind of start scanning and taking in the area, you can see movement down there. You can see that there are people milling about different sections of the town. Because the way that the geography of the town is now laid out, where there were buildings, where the town layout was, in their places are just large crystalline constructions that are formed around the previous buildings. The large kind of cave-in that you remember from the last time that you were there, it's still apparent. You can see large kind of troughs in the ground, but milling around them, pulling crystalline fragments out of the ground, look like townspeople from what you can see from this distance. Like, it is far away. You're talking a half a day's journey, but you can see this as you just your eyes just like track in. It is very far away, but your honed monk senses and that particular role, you're able to see at least that. You can see that there's people milling, creatures of some sort, milling about the kind of large troughs in the ground, and they seem to be pulling out crystals out of the ground, red crystals out of the ground. That's all you can see at that particular point. And you still see off in the distance, you can just make out disappearing as a dot. You can see Vestivus eagle form just swooping around and circling, staying clear enough of the main body of the town, but definitely scouting out the area.
I'm just going to turn to Norman and to Loran and just say, there are people pulling the red rocks out of the ground. They look like former townspeople.
How can you see that far down there? They're fucking miles away.
Elf eyes.
Is that it? I don't understand that reference.
Taking the crystals to Isengard.
Are we certain that what's down there are still people?
I can't be completely certain, but it's very likely that they could be still under some kind of control.
I mean, let's be honest, given the track record, most of them are not going to be alive in the next hour or so, so it probably doesn't matter. Business as usual, bro.
You have more experience with this red crystal than I. What's your expectation?
Yeah, I guess. Do you want me to roll to kind of see if I can, if I can pick up on anything more weird about this particular like potency of it or whatever?
If you wish, there's no real examples of it like in the close vicinity, but you can definitely see the town. If you want, you can roll an Arcana check to see.
I'll do the old Acme thing where like you just do this, but your eyes actually zoom as well.
Yeah, I mean you can roll Arcana to see because you can feel the magical energy emanating from it, and it's out in the world. So for sure you can sense something. So.
Yeah, that's a 23.
Jesus. Everyone's rolling well so far. So you kind of stretch out with your cardboard hand binoculars as you're kind of
just I just do this and my eyes go a bit longer.
Yeah, Talazar, that's what you see. You see the eye stalks from Norman's head just extend. And he just
they're on the end of like little black tendrils and they're just gonna go like,
and you can see a slight crackling of arcane energy just around the eye stalks as they reach outwards.
Now, click above if you want to see me Mythbuster this after the episode.
It's funny how you're pointing at Wayne that he actually looks like.
Adam. So, as you kind of start to extend your vision and you kind of stretch out your feelings about the whole kind of arcane energy in the area, kind of a wave of nausea hits you, and you're like, as much as like the creature of your abilities and being can get nauseated, you feel a wave of queasiness hit you as again you feel that planar energy emanating even stronger now from the town, whereas before it was like more like you had a husk of a creature that gave off the energy. You now can sense it all around you, and the more you look and the more you stretch out your kind of powers, the more you feel like you have to start steady yourself against a tree, and you're like, oh, that's not good. That's not good. If you had breakfast, you would be chucking it up right now.
Yeah, just like leaning against a tree, I'm like, well, it's one second, and then I just like look aside and just like heave, but it all comes out of the holes in the eye stalks instead of my mouth.
Oh, why do you do this?
That's nasty.
Is it like some black ichorous liquid? It's just
it's black ichorous liquid, but also there's like remnants of sausage in it.
Okay. Little bits of carrot as well.
Always bits of carrot.
Always bits of carrot. Just flop out onto the shrubbery in front of you, and then the weeds in the ground just start. You see acrid smoke start to rise up as like whatever just came out of Norman just burns the area around him.
So it's not good.
No.
I just like vibrate my eye stalks a bit to like wipe off. Like.
Oh, thank you. No, thank you.
That's pretty much what you feel in the area and definitely down towards the town.
it's I mean it's bad shit. So it's to put it lightly. Probably gonna get a bit more. I think we'll all get a bit more points at the burned patch that as we get closer. So not great. But I think it's good because, in a sense, and I point off towards where the far distant form of Festivus was, and it's like, if he doesn't come back, then I mean, it's like that thing that you people do with the canary and the mine shafts. I think.
Talasar just gives a wry chuckle and he says, "You have a lot to learn, but that's very true."
So we'll see if he dies, and if he doesn't, then it's probably okay-ish, I guess.
Full of optimism, Norman.
So sorry, I'm writing my notes here. Am I writing down if he dies, he dies?
Yeah. He dies.
The budgie's name was Tim.
Tim. Call me Tim. So the three of you are on the road. That's kind of the interaction you guys have, and what you kind of glean from the area that you're in. We're going to cut to now the trio that have gone into the forest. Ogun, you kind of lead the way, and with Aratir and Cody kind of following closely behind. I take it, do the two of you have weapons drawn? Are you kind of at the ready, or?
Aratir stays ready.
Yeah.
She don't need to get ready. She stays ready. How creepy and foreboding is this forest? Can I roll perception to see if there's any nasties around?
Please do. Please do.
Let's see a break in the awesome rolls.
And he really set you up there. Not 20.
I have a bad feeling it's going to have.
Holy shit! Not 20 again.
Oh my god!
You don't want to waste these early on.
I know. I'm like, oh god, I'm gonna fucking roll ones now from here on in.
Aratir, your senses just peak as you as the darkness of the forest envelops you, because you move deeper and deeper in. You kind of just raise your eyes, ears, and sense of smell. And you're just like, and you can definitely pick something up that smells. Steph, you can definitely smell something that sounds rotten. No, you can
smell on the air.
It's me.
Is it Norman?
It's not Norman. It's coming from about 20 feet in front of you, off to your right hand side. I think the foliage and the vegetation around you and the trees, that you can get that mossy, dank smell of an old forest that you're familiar with. You've smelled it many a time before, but there's something else in here. There's something dying or has died and is rotting somewhere close by. You also see that there are, the deeper you get into the forest, and if your perception, that roll of perception, you realize that you are moving kind of around and not so much towards the town, but you're definitely moving in that general direction.
Yeah.
And you start to notice that there are red veins intertwined on the forest floor.
Oh, so it's already made its way up here.
But it's just in the soil. There's nothing else. Like you can start in some of the trees, some of the foliage, and the flowers and weeds and everything else around you, the grass and the ground. You just see these very, very thin red veins.
Okay.
And up the side of one or two of the trees in the bark, you start to see kind of like glowing red veins as well. But as you move closer and closer in, about 20 feet ahead of you, off to your right-hand side, you can sense that there's something that has died here.
Okay. I am gonna fill Ogun and Cody in on what I have gleaned from my excellent roll.
Yeah.
Ogun, have you picked up anything yet?
Sorry?
Have you picked up anything yet, Ogun?
I have an itch, but I think it's just the regular fleas.
I've been following Ogun's. I've been watching Ogun's body language, hoping that he would tip off any weirdness that was around. But maybe smells don't bother him as much as maybe they should, considering what some of his attacks have been in the past.
Yeah.
I suggest we continue going deeper into the forest and try to avoid the red stuff.
Well, the red stuff is already here, Ogun. It's just not completely visible yet. It's already made its way up here. So You know, it's only a matter
Does
of
not bode well.
everything becomes infected. I can see veins in the trees. So I think we have less time than we thought.
Ogun, your druid sense, you can sense that the foliage here is sick. You can tell that this forest is starting to become quite sick, and it's not healthy. Like the deeper you go in, the more you know this isn't healthy. There's something wrong here.
Yeah.
And you start to sense what Aratir sensed as well, that there's something that has died very close by.
I have my bow drawn, Wayne.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess we go have a look.
Yeah.
Keep my bee safe.
Do.
I'm gonna Ogun, if you want to go first, I'll watch from behind. Codeine in the middle.
Yeah.
No worries.
Sandwich.
So you start to kind of creep forward, the foliage crunching underfoot, and the smell starting to fill your nostrils. And as you get close to where you think whatever this is, you kind of round the side of a large rock with a bent and half-broken tree over that seems to be falling over it. The ground starts to become like it's harder here. And then you start to see deeper veins of red and a few crystalline formations poking out from the soil. The soil has gone pure grey and the red is just pulsing, and he goes boom, boom. And as you turn around from this rock, you're met with the sight of a semi-decomposed body of what looks like a wood elf.
Oh.
And as you get closer, you recognize the elf. It is Gantar Durrell, who was the wood elf ranger that you first met when you came to Breshton. He met you outside.
Oh, Gandalf.
He is, yeah. So he is. This is the ranger that you met just before you came to Breshton the first time, and he was part of Cara Johnson's troop that were protecting the town.
Oh shit!
He seems to have escaped the town, but when you come upon his body, you see what has happened to him. From his midsection down, it is completely decomposed.
Fuck.
It is just kind of like there are some bits of flesh left, but it's hanging off bone, and his clothes have kind of fallen away. But from his kind of stomach up, his body is still there, and his head and features, everything is still there. His head is lulled to one side. His hair is kind of hanging. His weapons are kind of on the ground beside him, but the crystalline entities and the crystals have pierced through his body and have encrusted themselves all over it. But the bottom part of his body looks like it's completely kind of like decomposed and is not touched by the red crystal. He's leaning up against a tree, and the crystals have formed around the tree and up, and you see his face is pockmarked with like it pierces out through his skin. His white eyes are staring upwards, his mouth open, sunken face, and he's just staring up as if looking up into the tree. His hair is flecked with the red crystal as well, but it seems to have taken over the entire top part of his body and has connected him to the tree, like he's part of it. And it's all melded in, and all around him you just see an explosion of red as the crystals seem to be flecking out from this area out into the forest. As you move closer, the stench is overwhelming. You can smell the decomposition, but the energy, Ogun, you sense the energy from the crystals, and it is nauseating as well. You can feel that this energy is just pulsing out. You don't really know what it is, but you can feel this magical arcane energy just pulse out towards you as you move forward. I want the three of you to roll a stealth check for me, please.
No worries. 16 plus 1, so 17.
17, okay.
8.
8.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I've been ready this whole time, and then I decided to do okay. So, all right. Has anybody broken the thing yet?
Yeah, my last roll wasn't great.
What did you get?
16. Considering I
16.
have 9 modifier, I think I broke the streak on rolling.
Okay, no, you're fine. So 16. So you all rolled stealthy enough. As you come up close to the body, then you're right up on top of it, and then all of a sudden the head just goes, and the crystals crack and break off the side of the face, and it's just like the head turns, and very slowly its milky eyes take all 3 of you in, and it's just. What's your reaction?
Well, not dead.
I'm cop bleeding rapid because I was going to start looking through his weapons and see what I can take. So I'm a little bit unnerved, but yeah, I'm going to say you're alive. Also,
The head kind of slowly just turns like.
I don't think he is. He doesn't smell it.
We are alive.
no,
Ah,
oh, no, thank you.
What are you?
Are we cutting this lad's head off, or does it make any difference?
It kind of is the crystals start to kind of you see them not so much grow, but they kind of pulse and move with his body as the top part of his form moves, and his arms don't move, but it's just his head and shoulders are twisting because the rest of him is embedded into the tree with the crystals.
okay, I'm gonna lop his head off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty easy for you to do. I'm not even going to get you to it. Like, you just swing straight away, and like he's not moving. He's a still target, and the blade impacts into the crystals and through into his head. And you just see it flip through the air and land boop, 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 onto the forest floor about 5 feet away. You feel as you hit the crystals, Ogun, you are knocked back with the kind of the nauseating feel of the energy crackling through the air. Norman, where you are back on the thing, you feel this, you can sense it, and you start to, again, you're like, oh, whoa, what is that? Loran as well. It's like Loran kind of staggers slightly as he kind of gets hit with this wave of magical energy.
Loran
And
pokes
even
his head
Talazar
out of
kind of feels it as well.
his tiny hut.
Yeah, he's in the hut. Talazar, you feel it as well because of your multi-class now, because you're like, ooh. But the head rolls off 5 feet, and then the eyes in the head just turn. It's like, and the energy in the crystals that are still attached to the head, you see it, boom, boom, and the crystals start to twist. The head then starts to get propped up as the crystals push it up onto its stalk of its neck, and the head is just standing there on a stump of red crystal as it kind of eyes you all, still moving. The body starts to twitch, and the crystals start to. The tree cracks up its bark as it starts, as if it's trying to reach out to you. The three of you are standing. You notice that on the ground, the crystal on the ground is starting to spiral out towards each of you as well, like a spider web, reaching out towards your feet. I need you all to roll a dexterity saving throw for me, please.
Okay.
All of us.
No, just the tree in the forest.
No, 20, but not a nat 20.
Okay.
14, but not a nat 14.
Okay.
13.
Okay, all 3 of you managed to jump out of the way just as where you were once standing, red crystal tendrils, like as if like fingers, burst up as if they were about to grab onto your legs from where you were standing. You jump back about 3 or 4 feet behind, and then you see it again, that the red veins just kind of bury themselves and start moving out towards you. What do you all want to do?
I think we should retreat away from this and more to a safe area of the forest, and hope that there's someone there that isn't infected by this and that can help us.
Can I do something? I'm sorry to codeine it up so early, but can I do something really dumb, please?
Okay.
I want to retreat with the others, but I want to fire a grenade back at the tree.
Yeah, okay.
Blow it up.
So you're just tossing the grenade over your shoulder?
Yes, once I get far enough away. Yeah, I'm gonna get about 20 to 30 feet away and chuck it.
Chuck it.
The thing that's not moving has to make a dexterity saving throw of 15.
Great if we
the thing that is kind of moving.
Now.
Chuck it.
That's a natural 2. So the head is just stuck in place, and you just if we were cutting, the head is just in, it just sees this thing arc towards it, and just as it gets in front of its face, it's and the three of you feel like a rush of air from behind you as flame engulfs the area. You hear an unnatural wail.
That was pretty unnatural.
And the trio that are out on the road kind of see the other tree come rushing out of the forest area, and flame and air pushing from behind them as they arrive back out onto the main road.
I ready my staff.
Just as that happens, then Ogun, you sense a rush of activity as multiple woodland creatures start rushing behind you as well, as the fire is licking at their heels. You see small creatures like squirrels, and you have birds and like all rodents and snakes. They all rush out of the forest, and then all of a sudden there is this thundering, pounding sound as this massive grey furred owlbear comes rushing out.
Yeah, get in!
Towards the group, flames and air flicking, like rush of like kind of, you can see a dust and like pushing out from the grenade explosion. Unsettled by both the red crystalline forms in the forest and also the explosion. The owlbear's rushing forward. The other creatures are rushing ahead of it. They rush past you across the road and out to the far side. The owlbear sees you and it's like, and kind of is about to catch up to the group. What do you want to do?
Can you talk to him?
I can. Just keep your distance. I'll cast animal. Speak with animals, Wayne.
Sure.
And just say, relax. Everything is okay. You're safe now.
Roll and you're casting speak with animals. Roll animal handling to see if it actually pays any heed to you.
All right.
Like what the
Sorry,
animals.
no, actually, sorry, Brent. Too late now. I was going to say, can I go back? Actually, it'd probably be better to cast animal friendship first.
Okay. You want to cast
that
animal
would be
friendship?
Better.
Right. So, and you have that spell readied for the day, do you?
I do because I plan to come here.
Cool. So you have animal friendship. So you cast animal friendship. Just give me the description of what that does.
Okay, read it out. No worries. I was looking at another. Give me a second.
It means you just start singing, "Why can't we?"
Yeah, pretty much. It depends on how intelligent it is, but I suggest it help. This spell lets you convince a beast that you mean it no harm. Cool. Choose a beast that you can see within range. It must see you and hear you. If the beast's intelligence is 4 or higher, the spell fails. Otherwise, the beast must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or be charmed by you for the duration. If you or one of your companions harms the target, the spell ends.
Okay, 1 second now. So an owlbear's wisdom has to be. So what did you say the wisdom had to be?
If it's 4 or higher, the spell fails.
So an owlbear's base wisdom is 12.
Balls.
So the spell fails, but there's a mini Brosnan. The spell fails.
Hi, Pat.
But the owlbear is like completely terrified by the sound of the fire and everything. It starts to trundle past, and I need all 6 of you to roll a dexterity saving throw for me, please.
1, Nat.
Oh, jeez.
17.
Wayne, it's actually the beast's intelligence, not wisdom.
So, did you say intelligence or wisdom, Darren?
I said intelligence, didn't I? I said if the beast.
You said wisdom second time.
Okay, sorry, that's what confused me.
So he has to make a wisdom saving throw. Sorry.
Sure. So the intelligence of an owlbear is actually 3.
Oh,
sweet. So it does work.
Woohoo!
Okay, so sorry,
thanks for the
confusion
save,
there because I thought you said wisdom and The wisdom is 12, but the intelligence of an owlbear is 3.
Very
So
wise, but not very smart.
it happens.
A prime example. Wait, never mind. We had a question from the Zoom bomber there. What damage can an owlbear do?
The owlbear can do, it has a multi-attack, and with its beak, it can do 1d10 plus 5, and with its claws, it is 2d8 plus 5.
The answer to how much damage can an owlbear do is it depends how hard you throw it.
Yeah, that is true as well. So the owlbear comes to a screeching halt in front of Ogun, as Ogun's small form is in front of it. It dwarfs over him, and it's like it's like its black eyes, beady eyes, its black eyes, kind of looking down at its beak, kind of like it's snapping. It's like,
I got doll's eyes.
Give it a little scratches behind its ear.
It's like
There you go. Yeah,
and see, it's breathing heavily, and it starts to calm itself down as it stands in front of you. So what do you want to do next?
Cast animal, speak with animals.
Okay.
Or sorry, speak with animals, and just to tell it that everything's okay, and kind of ask it, does it know of anything else in the vicinity that could help, that could come to our aid and help us?
It kind of like it twitches its head slightly, and all the rest of you just see the owlbear just kind of squawk and chirp and growl in Ogun's direction. But what Ogun hears is like, forest overrun. No creatures, all dead. I am the last remaining of my pack.
Aww.
And you can tell that this is an older owlbear. Its fur is mottled fur and feathers are slightly grayer. It's dark in areas, but it is slightly grayer as well around kind of like its crown and across its back and around its ears. But it's big and it looks strong.
Oh, okay.
Would you like to help us put a stop to this red evil that is corrupting the forest?
I would like revenge.
Then you're now part of our pack. Come and help us.
Let us fight. And you all watch as like this owlbear seems to just rear back and it's like, nah! And for a second you think it's about to attack Ogun, and then it just kind of picks him up by the scruff and flicks it through the air on his beak, and Ogun lands in between the owlbear's shoulders as he grabs onto its fur and feathers, and it starts to and pats the ground in front of it. And Ogun just all looks to you all, and he's now riding an owlbear.
I just gonna write in my notes. I've renamed the group Beaky Blinders.
Jesus Christ. Oh God.
Can I be a dad too?
You take a dad point.
So are we calling the owlbear Shelby then?
What did I miss? Oh, it's a reference to Peaky Blinders. Okay.
Okay.
Shelby the owlbear.
I don't know Peaky Blinders, so haha.
Okay, so the group are now plus one owlbear.
Yep.
Yay!
So Ogun has found his animal friend, or his familiar.
Arthur is very impressed with this owlbear because, it's huge, and it's not often that we meet things bigger than ours here.
Yeah.
This is the second one.
So, Ogun, do you have the stats of an owlbear there?
I can get them. But,
you bring them up just to have them, so when you're rolling for it, you have its abilities and what it can do. The owlbear has advantage on wisdom, which are perception checks that rely on sight or smell. So if you're using the owlbear to see or smell anything, you have advantage on wisdom.
Oh, sweet.
Sorry, advantage on rolling perception checks with the owlbear. Okay, so you can send the owlbear off to look and smell things if you want, and it'll get advantage on that. It's decent enough. It's got 59 hit points. Its armor class is 13, and it has a multi-attack. So it has 2 attacks each turn, one with its beak and one with its claws. So you can attack with its beak and you can attack with its claws.
Wayne.
Yeah.
I had an actual little speech prepared just in case I had to. believe it or
Okay.
not. But
Okay.
I'm happy I didn't have to.
Okay.
There we go. Cool. Oh, they look awesome. Right.
Right. Okay. So Ogun now has his owlbear. What did the group want to do? The forest behind you now is kind of caught fire a bit. The smell of burning foliage and an acrid arcane stench of ozone is kind of seeping out. You again, all magic users in the group can feel the nauseating pulse that's coming from there, but it's dissipating slightly because as part of the jungle forest has been burnt away. What do the group want to do now at this point?
I want to ask Ogun if I did the red stuff any damage by doing that. Can he sense the red stuff less powerful? Or is it just because I burnt the tree it was growing on?
Did it look like it got injured?
You can roll, Ogun, if you wish, you can roll an Arcana check and see.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I got a 3.
3. Ogun is just too busy, enamored with his new owlbear to even pay any attention to what you're saying.
Can I roll Arcana?
You can certainly give it a whirl, but as a rogue, your Arcana might not be the Mae West.
No. I'll give it a ging anyway. Okay. Sorry, I rolled it, but it's hidden behind. Oh, sorry.
Actually, you've got a better Arcana than Owen does.
Which is.
You said there you rolled a 20.
Odin got 20.
Wow. You kind of Ogun starts to inspect. Codeine starts to inspect the ground, and you start to kind of look at the damage that whatever this red substance is doing to the area, and you can kind of guess that fireworks.
Nice.
You know, you managed to damage it in some way because you step back into the forest looking from the direction you came. Amongst all the animal tracks, amongst all the things, you can make out that the red veins that were chasing after you have dissipated slightly and have moved back in. And you can see that there is fire damage around the area, leading back in towards from where you came.
Okay. All right, I duly noted. So we have to move now. Us 3 and the owlbear.
Well, you're all back out onto the main road now. You're all back out.
Oh, are we back with our?
You're back with the original group. So everyone kind of like you'd all rushed out while the fire was burning behind you, and you were then followed by a lot of forest animals and creatures and the owlbear and stuff. So.
Okay, I'm gonna turn to the group and say, so the forest is basically dead. The animals have gone. Are we gonna press on and see if there's a way to infiltrate this place? But I've noticed that fire works, so we can cause destruction on a small level as we make our way in.
That sounds good. I am all for moving forward because it looks like we can't do much more here, and I am anxious to make some progress.
Why limit it to small? You said we can cause small destruction on the way in. All I'm saying is, I kind of like look around at the deforested area and then at all the other forests and plains. And I'm like, we could just burn down all the forests.
No.
Well,
not every forest.
That's
well, not all of them. And then as soon as like I look away from Ogun, I'm like,
Norman. I mean, I've learned along the way to not speak for you. If you want to burn things down without killing us, I would not have a problem with that.
You probably won't be involved. Just.
Why would you...
I get a little trauma ding-a-ling notification there of the last time Norman didn't care if I lived or died. Oh my god.
Norman,
how about you start off with anything that's red and crystalline? Burn that and then see how you go.
Yeah, torch it.
Yeah, I don't think we need to torch a whole forest.
Agreed.
I suppose we have some disagreements on that, but I don't think we need to. I just think it would be efficient.
I think it'd be more efficient for you to focus your efforts on the red stuff, Norman.
They would be included.
Well, if we move forward, There will be more of that red stuff for you to burn.
Oh, I was just saying, but as we're heading in, I can just start setting fires as we go and sort of let them do their thing.
Okay. Yep. Agreed.
Once the fire is set, realistically, it's out of my hands.
Burn, baby, burn.
Okay, I'm gonna take some water out of my pack, and I'm just gonna douse myself in it just in case.
You all watch just absent-mindedly as Cody is talking. She's just pouring water on herself, and she's just, her clothes are soaking and stuff like that, and her cloak is soaked, and she's just, yep, whatever, yep, that's fine.
Oswald,
Come here for
deniability, Norman.
this. Come for the gameplay. Stay for the soaking wet half elf.
What were
Nice.
you guys doing while we were in the forest?
I got sick. Loran hasn't come out of his little house yet. And you hear from inside the tiny hut just like, no, and I'm not coming out until we have a plan. I'm staying in here. It's cozy and warm. You all can do the plan. Fuck off. I'll come along when I'm ready.
Any chance that we can plan in the hut?
Ooh, no, it's a personal hut. I'm afraid, Talazar.
It's a person. I'd let Aratir in, but Ogin's covered in shit, so he can't come in. The rest of you are cleanish.
I
Personal.
don't need to have my monthly bat for another 3 more months.
Ogun, you're fucking rank.
Make the flowers give off more of a nice aroma. But actually, not those stinky weeds. Make them give off that kind of aroma if I can.
The bee, when this happens, the bee is just like, zzz, and then just flies off and starts buzzing around Norman's head. But you do notice that the back of its legs are kind of stuffed with pollen at this point. As it kind of starts buzzing around Norman's head, following the
You've
stinky
done
bee.
well, bee. I shall make you a mate. And I conjure my second bee.
Full power!
I am now operating at maximum power.
Yeah.
I have reached my full potential at last.
Max B capacity.
Just call me the, I don't know. I don't have a thing.
Can I just nominate that the original bee be called Eric the Half of Bee? That's all I'm saying. I'm going to leave you with that one, non-Monty Python watchers.
Yeah.
His name is Norman Jr.
Oh, okay.
Normie.
We have
No, that's
okay.
it. That's the other bee.
I'm a fish. And what was the name of the bear? Yellow bear?
Whatever you want to call it.
Shelby.
Shelby, I'm a fish. And that kind of cool.
Okay, so the group have their owlbear. They now have 2 bees. Loran is
Yeah,
We're
you
not
do.
bees. That is the question.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Loran is refusing to come out of the tiny hut until a plan is formulated. So what does the group want to do at this point?
Have you scouted out ahead to see what the city's like? Is it as bad as the forest? Is there anyone alive?
We haven't moved yet.
But he used his elf eyes, which apparently see very far, and he saw there are, as far as we can tell, people living.
Working. They're pulling the red rocks out of the ground.
Mm,
Whether they're alive or dead is another question.
I suppose,
Yeah.
and probably soon to be irrelevant anyway. So
Well, being around you long enough.
doesn't take that long.
I think we should walk to our first. We make our way in. I mean, I'm low-key disappointed because I was hoping for a horse. I'm just saying, Ogun was hoping for a horse. But if there's nothing in the woods, if we head in and just get to the first set of humanoid creatures that are working, see whether they're, automated drones or alive, and then start acting accordingly.
Codeine, on the side note, you only get that pony on your birthday.
Okay. Sorry, is this you telling me you're going to get me a pony on my birthday?
I know a guy. I can see you.
If we get to my birthday, which is 2 months away, Ogun, I will be delighted. If we're still kind of on the same plane of existence,
if we're still alive and not covered with the like giant crystalline red things, yeah.
Depending which plane we get thrown to as well. But yeah, I'm gonna keep you to that.
Yeah, we're playing a ponies. That'd be good.
Okay, so the group, like, is that what the group want to do? Codeine is obviously putting this together herself. So, as a group, are you all starting to move forward, or what way are you doing this?
Codeine, would it be better if you and I stealth ahead, see what's ahead of us?
I'm just Talazar. I'm just burned. I did that so often, and I ended up. Although maybe my problem was that I was making poor decisions based on the recon and intel that I gleaned. So maybe with you there, that would be better. I'm more battle worn. I'm a bit further along. Yeah.
It's okay. We'll make sure we get you back to your
Codeine, the most idiosyncratic rogue you will ever meet in your fucking life.
I know. Well, that goes for stealthy as fuck orc, so that's good. All right. Okay.
It's like Larry David as a fucking rogue. It's like second guessing everything. It's like
throw a dagger. Oh, did I kill him?
Yeah. All right.
Sneak.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? I got to get back to sneaking. Let's sneak.
Okay. So the rest of you look as Talazar and Codeine just head off down. Like, so as you kind of come over the top of the crest of this hill, you're making your way down. The landscape in front of you it's the winding road into Breshton. But then you have, like, just at the edge of the forest, you see tall grass. And the grass stretches down like flat plains, and then there are small little huts here and there on the outskirts of the city. You know, you still have a half a day's travel ahead of you, so you can go ahead and make that trip. And as you get close to the city, then or town, you can stealth if you wish.
Yeah, that's see, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, so you do have a bit of travel ahead of you.
Let's keep going.
Yeah, so you hit the road. I take it Loran comes out of the hut.
He does. He's not happy about it, but he comes out.
Cool. So the hut just like folds up into itself and just pop, and then you just say, Loran. Yeah, Loran is like just brushing himself off, and the group start making their way down. You travel for a fair bit. You're about 2-3 hours on the road. I need everyone to roll perception, please. Can
I just point of order? Every 100-200 feet we travel, I cast create bonfire at a random area of forest around us.
Well, you've come out of the forest at this point. There's a lot of tall grass around you.
That burns too.
Cool. Okay. You all watch as randomly, just like every couple of 100 feet, you just see Norman just points in different directions, and you feel like sometimes it's close, sometimes it's far away. You hear. And when it's close, you feel the rush of air, hot air and steam as patches of the tall grass around you, which is it's definitely over Ogun's height. It's about 3 feet, 3.5 feet tall, sometimes taller in certain sections. And there's more trees, outcroppings on the road and large rock formations and stuff. But the grass seems to frame the pathway as you walk. Some of this area is used as farmland in certain sections as well. So you do see buildings, small farm buildings off to one side. Some of them you do see small crystalline formations around them. Some of you don't. But Norman is just setting off fire here and there, and you just hear brief explosions and then you hear the crackling of fire as the grass starts to take light. And you can smell the smoke rising up into the air. You're very much announcing your arrival. By doing this, it's a case of anyone that's looking from a distance at this, we will be able to see aspects of the landscape just going.
And as a result, we'll not be looking for Codeine and Talazar when they sneak ahead.
Yeah. So you're going ahead to 2 to 3 hours into the journey. Talazar, did you want to do something?
No, you asked for perception checks.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Everyone roll perception check for me, please.
19 win.
Okay.
15.
I'm just going to take my passive perception at 16.
Okay, grand out.
Norman got 11. Loran got 16.
Grand. Artie, what you get?
14.
14. Okay. Even amongst all of you rolled perfectly well, and as a group, and even amongst all the kind of the odd explosion that Norman is setting off with the fire, you start to notice that the closer you get to the town, the ground is starting to become grayer and cracked and dried out. The grass is starting to yellow in places, and as you get further in, browning starts to rot, and you see the veins of red start to appear in the soil, even on the road, but not to heavy extremes. But it's definitely there. When you're walking, it's not reaching out to grab you at any point. It seems less agitated and more docile in this particular section. You travel the half a day's journey, and you just come up on the outskirts of the town, and you see like the kind of the aftermath and the debris of when you were previously here, intermixed with the crystalline formations that are now pot-marked everywhere. The high grassland area has flattened out, and it's just dry, arid dirt with large crystalline formations piercing up through it and twisting forms entwined in each other. The arcane energy that's emanating through this, everyone's feeling it at this point. It's like a dull hum in the air. Norman in particular, you can feel it now. You've started to come accustomed to it. You're not as nauseated, but it's a constant feeling. It's like it's just sitting there in the back of your throat, and you can sense that your head is buzzing, and it's like there's a slight vibration on the air.
In like a sick way or like a dank way?
It's a bit of both, actually. You kind
Nice.
of it's a bit of both. It's very much that you're used to this type of. It's like a welcome torture. It's as such. You like the idea, but also it sickens you at the same time.
Norman's just like, this is, guys, not to put too fine a point on it, but this is good shit. You are missing out.
And the other magic users in the group can sense that there is something as well, and it does make you feel a bit queasy. You're just outside, so if the two of you want to stealth at this point, you've got a good 120 to 200 meters ahead of you is the kind of the outskirts of the town gate. You hadn't come in this way before. You've been brought in through a secret entrance because the town was under siege at that point. And you see the remains of that siege, and there are remains of bodies and creatures, but the whole town gate has been pulled apart. It's like split open. There's a large kind of crack in the ground, like a big crevice that's opened out and splits through the center of the gate, and at the top of the portcullis has broken in two, and it's bent outwards. It's if it's been peeled apart by a giant hand. And the portcullis itself is split, and the iron barbs and the kind of are jutting in all weird angles, and the entire gate is rimmed with the red crystal as it kind of grows up from the ground and up and around it. There are like what was used as kind of like to block the area has all been pushed apart and is in huge stacks on either side. There is smoke rising from the ground like a steam, and as you can see just in through, you can just barely make out that there seems to be some sort of movement inside the town, but you can't really tell from this distance what it is. The two of you, the monk and the rogue, Cody and Talazar, if you want to try and stealth closer, you can.
Yeah.
I'll need a stealth check from both of you.
Okay, I'm gonna give Artie a thumbs up, like it's okay, I'm not running away before I go to do this.
Cool.
And I rolled Wayne, I'm using the virtual dice, so you should be able to see what I rolled, but I rolled a 2, so that's an 11.
Wow. Okay, 11. All right. Okay. Your rogue senses helped you there because the DC was 10. So you managed to because there's not that many people paying attention to this part of the town. So Talazar
to start off and then she write it herself.
Yeah. Talazar, what did you get?
Talazar roll. What?
A natural 1. Okay.
For a total of 8.
For a total of 8.
I'm a stealthy fucking monk, but every time I've rolled stealth, I've rolled fucking shit.
I remember from the very, very first session, it was like you fell over a log.
And it was with Codeine as well.
It was with Codeine.
Yeah. You too.
We're a bad influence on each other.
Oh god. Well, Codeine manages to stealth ahead, but as you're moving ahead, you're about 40 feet away from Talazar as he tries to kind of blend in with the scenery, and you're all seeing this as well. as he kind of pushes himself against a rock of it's kind of one that's got lesser of the crystal on it than previous ones, and as he pushes against the rock just crumbles and falls into the ground, and Talazar trips and falls into the pit that it creates head first, falling ass over tit straight into the hole that he just boom and lands on his back. And Talazar, you find yourself just looking up at the sky and just lying there, kind of questioning your motives and questioning your life choices. As the stealth completely fails you and leaves you at that moment. The rest of the group are seeing this. Cody, and you turn, and you're kind of moving quietly. You can't even hear a sound, and you're moving up, and then you hear a whoop, and you look back, and Talazar is nowhere to be seen, and you just see this about 40 feet away from you, back from the direction you came. You see this large pit is now opened up.
Can I just parkour back up?
Roll an athletics check for me, please.
Yeah, I was hoping you'd make a roll for it.
Would it be acrobatics or athletics?
Well, you choose. Acrobatics or athletics, one or the
other. That's a 15.
15. You then look, as you're looking at the pit, you just see kind of springing up from out of
into the pit. He fell into the pit. Sorry, I've been rewatching Parks and Rec.
And you just see Talazar kind of just land up and just quietly just land on his feet and looking extremely sheepish, with a puce face on him. It's just like
Mortal.
Can we try that again?
Okay, so Cody, what do you want to do at this point? Did the two of you want to try and just move forward?
Yeah, I'm gonna wait to see if he's coming with me. I'm not, I'm not doing this alone.
No, I am. I'm not gonna go back.
Okay.
Okay.
The two of you start making your way up. Are you going towards the direction of the main entrance?
Yeah. Can we see if there's any kind of broken parts of the wall that we can slip through, or
there are? From where you are, roll perception for me.
Well, I'm feeling ballsy. I was gonna make for the metal AF door.
Okay.
By the way, that's an album cover. For
16.
16. Talazar, as you look, you notice that the wall is actually pretty intact for most part. From where you are, the closest entrance is the main gate.
Okay.
And with that perception, you can see there's actually nothing else around it. Like there's
no
sentries
covered
and shit. There's no sentries. There's no guards anywhere. The town is open. You don't see anyone milling about. That might be a hindrance.
I just say, Cody, let's just take our time, go to the gate, see if anything's there first, and then make our way through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The two of you kind of make your way up, Cody leading the way, kind of leaning up against, not trying to touch the crystal, but you're there, and you kind of start looking in. The sight that greets you is the main thoroughfare into the town that leads to the main square that you actually were in previously. You do see the remains of the buildings, or the ruins of the buildings that were there before, but they're now overrun by this crystalline shape.
Shit, okay.
That seems to be it's kind of large mounds of crystal. Some of them with entrances, some of them without. You also see what you think are townspeople. Just off in the distance, you see shapes moving slowly, but intently. They are all moving in groups, and they seem to be carrying things, but you can't really make out from this distance. It's a good 120 feet away from you towards into the town.
Okay.
The ground around you again is arid and dry, and you see the red tendrils kind of pulsating through it. But it's very docile. There's no attempt to attack at you or kind of pull at you, but you can sense you're just like, this is not fucking right. That seems to, from your vantage point right now, that's what you see. You can see shapes and figures off in the distance. The town around you seems to be just completely overrun. There are divots and tracks in the ground, some deeper than others, obviously from the previous cave-in or the collapse of the town into kind of like the underground caverns below of the mines. And that's kind of what you see at this particular point.
Okay, I want to make my way closer to the people without them noticing me and do an Arcana check on them. Okay,
it's a good bit of ways. You're talking 200 feet, so it's a bit of a walk. So what are the rest of the group doing at this point as you watch the two so-called stealthily people moving towards the town?
This is why I could never be a stealthy person. There's no way I could fall that elegantly into that hole. No way.
What I was going to do is I was going to just shoot a sacred flame, just not so far into the air that they could that it could be seen in the town, but enough to let them know that it's safe to come down as far as the gate.
You're going to do that to the group?
Yeah, it's just it's just a beam of kind of brilliant white light, just white flame that just shoots from the hand.
You see Talazar do that, like it's like this beam of white light that shoots outwards and then hits a point and then like it's like a flare. That's what you see.
Well, I think we should.
That must mean he's in terrible danger. We have to go. I'm only kidding. Could you imagine?
Is that not the flare to stay put and wait?
No, that's the flare.
You could be right.
Going, I reckon.
I don't know. Loran's like, I don't know. I think it might be the one to stay and wait.
We'll go up and ask him to make sure.
We'll go up and ask him to see if we need to stay and wait. Good call.
Loran, sweetheart, your default is stay and wait. I'm gonna go.
Okay, so Aratir heads off. Kind of marching towards. I think you just marching Aratir, just full on. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Making that noise.
Boom, 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 boom.
This is not helping the stealth Aratir.
Lads, for the crack, Aratir, you should roll stealth for the crack.
Fuck it. Fine.
See if you uphold your abilities as being the stealthy barbarian. There you go.
Now that you've decided to fucking ask me to do it, it's gonna go terribly. That's a 4.
4.
That's what we want. Like, that's what it should be. Should be 4 for you.
So
Aratir falls in the hole as well.
Yeah, no, Aratir, like you kind of go to inspect the hole to look, and you just crunch at the side, and the edge of it crumbles. But you manage to hold your steadiness. You're like, what the fuck? But there's definite noise, and Talazar and Cody do hear this. Is you turn and you just see Aratir balancing on the edge of the pit, and then she just turns and collects herself and then makes her way towards you. Norman, Loran, and Ogun, what are you guys doing?
We'll go down and find out whether or not that was the call to come down or the call to stay.
Okay.
But we don't want to come off as idiots, you know.
Exactly.
So on the back of Shelby.
Speaking of not coming off as an idiot, I need to get a good look at this hole.
Oh my god.
It seems to have some kind of power. I want to roll it as well.
You roll stealth? Okay.
Yeah. That is a 6.
6. Norman kind of goes over and the edge of the hole is now kind of wider because Aratir kind of stomped on it and a load of it fell in, and you kind of get to the edge, was a bit silty and a bit loose, and you kind of start to slide down. You kind of, and you're about to fall in. I want Loran. Is Loran with you?
No. Loran is still at the back. He's just like watching this from afar.
Okay. You're about to fall in. I need you to roll a dexterity saving throw or an acrobatics or whatever.
Episode 14 of Pubcast plays Dungeons and Dragons, featuring new guest player, The Hole.
That is a 14.
14. Due to your elvish body that you're now inhabiting, you feel yourself.
I am live now.
Yeah, you feel yourself able to just push off the loose soil, and you kind of. You all watch, anyone that's watching this
sees, do a leggy maneuver.
You just see Norman uncharacteristically somersault backwards and land on his feet, and then there's a look of surprise even on Norman's face, but he manages to cover it up and have his usual smug head.
That's kind of like glancing around at everyone. I'm like, this may be our most powerful nemesis yet.
Just staring intently at the hole.
So, Ogun, I think you're making your way up to the up to Talazar on the back of Shelby.
Yeah.
So the owlbear lumbers forward with Ogun on top, and he's just like boom, 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 and you kind of come up behind Talazar, and Talazar, you just turn to see this owlbear maw right in your face.
Oh, sorry to annoy you, Talazar, but I just wanted to check. Was that the warning to stay away and be all stealthy, or was that the warning to come up here?
To come here, stealthy.
All right. Oh, stealthy.
Yes.
Shall I go
Stay
back
here.
and fall in the hole?
Stay here. Hide.
Loran like yells at the top of his voice. He's like, "Are we supposed to be being sneaky?"
Talazar literally just puts his hand in his head.
His head
in his hands even.
Head, yeah, whatever. Head in his hands, and he just says to Ogun,
Roll an acrobatics check. Sorry.
This perilous pit will
that's a
consume
20
us
total.
all.
20,
20
that's
total.
fine. Talazar does not smack himself in the face.
So
I think for future reference, we might have to color code those signals of yours so that our friends understand them properly.
No one answered Loran, and he's annoyed that like people aren't paying attention to him. And he's like, "Guys, I said, can anyone?" And Loran,
Wave at Loran.
Loran like claps his hands together. He's like, "Can anyone hear me?"
I can.
oh Jesus Christ!
Arthur is beckoning Loran forward.
I didn't know being stealthy you could stealth that loud.
We must be stealthy, else this whole
group. So surprisingly, though, Codeine is noticing that there doesn't seem to be anyone in the vicinity even paying attention to any, because Codeine's focused on ahead. There's no guards, there's no bodies, there's no people that are even paying any attention to this area. So nobody hears you. You don't think anyone's seen you. You're pretty confident in the fact that you've, even through all of this chaos, you've managed to stay stealthy.
Can I look up to see if there's any sign of Eagle Festivus?
Yeah, roll a perception. 1.
Well, I can take a passive perception of 16.
Well, no, you rolled a 1. So you're kind of directly under the portcullis, and you look up, and all you can see is red crystal and brick. You can't really, and with all the shouting and chaos that's going on, your senses are thrown off, and you're like, "What the fuck? How have these Egypts survived this long?"
Just lucky, I guess.
Just lucky. Codeine, you said you wanted to move ahead into the area, and
I want to get nearer to the people, see if they're harmed or not.
I'll go with her. You guys stay here.
Arthur's going to relieve herself.
Okay.
Just right there.
just right at the portcullis.
She goes back to the hole.
Yeah.
Back to the
I can't believe I thought the owlbear was going to be like the guest star of this.
The owlbear feels very disappointed that he's being
overshadowed by a hole. This is what happens when you roll stealth badly. Weird stuff.
But this is what happens. This is peak D&D.
Yeah.
Norman is genuinely quite off-put by this hole. This hole has put fear into him.
Is Norman still over at the hole?
He's kind of lingering between the hole, and he just wants to know how it's managing to consume so many of us.
Oh, me in my 20s.
Codeine, you're moving up. Talazar's going with you. The group are staying where they're staying. Loran still all the way back out shouting, or is Aratir beckoned him forward? So has he moved?
Yeah.
Loran has moved away because he doesn't want to be weird and watch Aratir pee in the hole.
Doesn't stop Norman.
I mean, it's very.
No, it doesn't. But Norman gets nothing from it.
Yeah. So Aratir's peeing in the hole. Loran has made his way towards the gate. Ogun and Shelby are at the gate as well. Codeine and Talazar have moved up into the town, kind of creeping in. I'm going to get you to roll a secondary stealth roll for me here again.
I'm going to use new dice. I don't want the bad juju.
Yeah.
Man, I've been holding that in for ages, and I didn't want to piss in that freaky forest. So what did I miss?
You peed in the pit.
In the hole.
There's a
That's
hole.
better.
Yeah.
That's better. That's a 20 total.
15
and 20, yeah. You very quickly move together in unison as you kind of wind your way through the streets, being very careful not to go too close to any of the buildings. It takes you about 15 minutes or so, and you do make your way closer to the center of the town. And you notice that the shapes that you saw moving, as the closer you get, they are the former townsfolk of Breshton, but one very big difference. They are covered in head to toe in red crystal crustaceans.
Oh God.
Well, that's fun to say.
3 times fast. No, it's not.
Red crystal crustaceans. I like that.
And they seem to be just they're moving large forms of crystal from the huge, now the closer you are to it now, the massive cavernous hole that's in the center of the town that is overlooking the main deep area of the mines. They are effectively mining this whole area of the crystalline
The
forms.
whole area?
The whole area.
The whole hole.
I thought the whole area was back there that people were falling into.
That's just a hint of the hole.
No one could mind that.
That's what she says.
We didn't mind it. People fell in it.
In large groups, they're pulling and cutting these huge, like they're three times the size of a person. So there's large groups of them, just all manually labor. Basically, they're all moving them, and they're taking them from and they all seem to be moving towards the back area of the town square, and disappearing off this. And as you look, this entire area, all the buildings that cover or circle around the town square are huge crystalline formations. All of them with large cavernous doors that lead into dark areas that you can't see into. But they are crackling with light, and you can see arcane energy flittering over the surfaces. Also, flittering over the surfaces of these large crystalline buildings, you see, and you can guess from where you're sitting or where you're crouched, you reckon they're probably the size of a small child. You see these white crystalline spiders just flitting all over these buildings. And they seem to be like working and stitching these surfaces together.
Can I try something on them?
On the spiders?
Yes.
Or on the people?
No, on the spiders. Can I just loose one arrow at one spider just as an investigation?
I'm hiding away from her as she does this.
Okay.
I don't think that's the best idea, Codeine.
But you're nowhere there, so she can, like, your Aratir is back at the gate.
Oh yeah.
Codeine is a good 200 feet away from you at this point.
Talisar just holds out the staff and says, no, just
Okay.
let's try and move around, see what we can glean.
Hey,
I'd rather not draw our attention.
Okay, I stop, and Wayne, you were saying.
Okay. The two of you then start to move. What direction are you going here? Where are you going at this point?
We want to try. Look at Codeine. Do you want to find the more centralized area of the city, of the town?
The spiders are new, Talisar. The spiders are new. I don't like this. I would like to know how this relates to the red stuff. I would like to know where they're coming from.
Point of order, Wayne. When we were last in Breshton, when myself and Norman went into the crystalline area, was that full of webs?
So if you remember correctly, Norman will be aware of this. You found egg sacs.
Yeah.
And Norman found the husk of a spider form in it that made him, I think he put you to sleep or something. You got knocked out by the energy.
Knocked out, yeah.
You got knocked out by the energy, and Norman was able to retrieve the form from the egg sac before it crumbled into dust.
Yeah, it's still in my pocket.
It's still in your pocket. Sorry, it didn't crumble into dust. It turned into a husk, a dark husk. So he still has it. Roll a history check for me there, Talizar, just to see, because you've been through a lot since then. So
because we weren't
at 13 total.
13. Yeah, you get a wave of recognition as you look upon these spiders, but you're not 100% sure because you didn't see the spider in its husk form. You were knocked unconscious at that point. And then Norman just wouldn't show you what it was, as far as I remember. He just said, no, you're not worthy of this shit. He kept it himself. But you have some form of recollection that you did see something. It was the old butcher's shop that had been inside of it. The red webs had kind of started to splurge out. And you kind of reckon that was the beginning of all of this.
I relay all of that to Codeine.
Yeah. So the two of you start to move in closer to where you are. What are the group doing back at the entrance to the town?
Waiting. Try not to be stealthy, because if you're stealthy, you fall into holes.
Yeah.
So
we must be as loud as possible that we do not be consumed by the pit.
So how big is the area that we're in? What can I roll an investigation check to see what's around us if there's...
Yeah, I mean, you can roll investigation. Are you looking for anything in particular? No, you're just looking for some clues and stuff. Yeah, roll investigation for the area that you're in. You're just inside the main entrance to the town.
So is there like a courtyard?
So it's a main thoroughfare with loads of buildings on either side. So if you think the main entrance is, you've got what used to be shops, and dwellings all along either side, left and right of the street, that leads into, and the roads divvy off into different sections, but the main thoroughfare goes towards the center of the town, where Cody and Talis are both gone off to. You can just look, if you squint, you just see them as they disappear behind something and then they're gone, just before they started to investigate their area. So you can roll investigation for this particular section that you're in to see if you find anything.
Or I think I'll roll acrobatics to see if I can climb the wall and see anything.
Sure. Roll acrobatics, yeah.
Can we give her a boost? Can we help?
I rolled a 16.
Oh, then.
Roll a 16. No, that's fine. Yeah, Aratir, you turn and there's bricks and there's a bit of the old battlements that has fallen over off to your left hand side. You manage to hoist yourself up and you pull yourself up onto the battlements and look out over that section of the town. And you can see from where you are, a good vantage point as you're looking out over a watchtower section. You turn and you can see where you came from and Norman's random pockets of fire that are now spreading out over the grasslands. Off in the distance, you see plumes of smoke. As you turn back to Breshton, you're just amazed by the vast swath of red buildings as far as the eye can see into the town. Some of them taller than others, some of them are towers, some of them are squat areas. You can see the arcane crackling energy over all of them as they kind of it hops from building to building, crackling as it goes. Roll a perception for me, please. Perception check.
9.
You can see something on some of the more distant buildings from you, closer to the center of the city or the town, but you see something moving on the buildings, but you can't really make out what they are. But there's quite a few of them. You don't know what they are with that roll, but there's definitely something moving that isn't humanoid. It isn't a townsperson. It isn't, person at all. It's something, shapes. Masses of them that are moving around all the buildings, more centralized inside the town. That's pretty much what you see from that vantage point.
Can I move forward along the wall as like a scout?
Yeah, the wall kind of goes, it moves kind of to you're standing looking at the town, and the gate, the top of the gate that's all crystallized is to your right, and then the rest of the wall kind of goes off to your left a bit, and you do see pockets of the crystalline infection kind of brimming over parts of the wall by about 60 feet to your left, and they kind of jut out in spikes in that area. Okay. So you can move down to your left for about 60 feet before you're going to hit a wall of that crystalline area.
So I can't get by it.
Well, it's quite large. Now, if you get close to it, you'll see it's on top of the wall, and it shoots up another 60 to 70 feet in the air in like these large jutting spikes.
Right, cool. Right, I'm going to move forward as far as the crystal and then hop down and rejoin the guys.
Okay. You're going to the crystal 60 feet ahead and you're hopping down off the battlements there?
Yeah.
So effectively, as you hit the ground, they're back 60 feet towards the main entrance. You land down in between two buildings.
Yeah.
And as you hit the ground, you look up, and right in front of you, standing stationary, you see a humanoid figure, just like, and it's like you saw in the forest. There are crystalline spikes emanating from its body, poking out through its clothes, and you see ribs, exposed ribs, and organs, and holes in the body where like its flesh is rotted away, but they're being overrun by the crystal as it kind of seems to consume them. They're fully intact, unlike the wood elf that you saw, who had no bottom part of his body, but they're very much just like standing there, unmoving. And as you kind of stand up and look around, you notice that there's at least four or five more of them dotted along this area in between buildings, kind of just stationary.
Okay, and it doesn't react to me.
It hasn't reacted to you yet, no.
Okay. Is there a way? Is there? So I can see the one immediately in front of me, and then 4 or 5 beyond. Is there a direction to kind of avoid them?
Yeah, you could. There is a pathway back towards the main entrance, kind of that seems to be clear.
Right. I am going to back away, not today, and go back and inform my buddies of the crystal zombies.
Cool. So you arrive back swiftly, and as you're moving away, you hit the side of another building and another like a small thoroughfare, like a laneway that goes at the back, and you see 3 or 4 more of them are dotted along that laneway, all unmoving. One of them at the far end is slowly, surely just butting themselves off the side of a building, just whacking their head, and the crystalline and the kind of infections that are smattered across their head, just cracking and bits are flaking off, but it's like, and is not registering that's just continuously walking into a wall. But they pay you no attention as you walk past and make your way back to the main entrance.
I didn't know we were using the C word. Crystalline zombies. Thought we were going to give that away, Bert.
So
we
Around like, oh, I thought you meant, and just gets cut off.
Hogan's so innocent, you wouldn't know any other C word.
Last episode, I used that word in the first 10 seconds of the broadcast.
You thought you said crunch. I've got a lot of wax and soil in my ear.
Archer, you were saying to the group?
So I'm going to relay what I've seen to the group. The fact that these crystalline zombies, these beings, you don't have to stealth by them. Like, there's no real reaction if you walk normally by them, but who knows if they can be controlled because they now have crystal in them. But that might be something that Norman might want to burn in the future.
Sounds like me.
I think we should, given the fact that they don't seem to be following me, or they haven't seemed to follow me, and they're not reacting to the noise of us walking by, I think we should press forward and see what Codeine and Talazar have discovered, and also tell them about these zombies if they don't know already.
How come could they see it? Because that other one we seen in the forest, it reacted really weirdly. If we hadn't ran the F out, I wouldn't have liked to see what will happen. Did they definitely see it?
Well, they didn't react to me at all, so it's there doesn't seem to be any of the original person or elf or left behind. It's the crystal that's controlling them. So I don't know, maybe I was lucky, who knows, but there's plenty of them around. They just didn't seem to react to me, but it's just something to keep in mind as we move forward, and also something that we could potentially destroy on our way out.
Yeah. I'm whatever the pack wants to do. I thought we were meant to wait here, but I'll go with what you say. I'm breezy.
Okay. So are the group making their way up, and Norman and Rand need to kind of agree to start moving?
Oh yeah, Norman's all go here. This is like a nice. This place has quite a homey feel. So Norman's like, nice. I can see myself moving in here, setting up a little villa. And Loran is just doing his absolute best to not touch anything as he's like walking. He's disgusted by this place.
Okay, so the 4 of you and Shelby start making your way up into the center of the town. Slowly but surely, you head toward the direction you saw Talazar and Codeine vanish into. Not knowing what greets you ahead, you know that they've gone ahead of you and they've vanished off somewhere, but you don't know where.
Yep.
We're going to take a break there.
Okay.
And when we come back, we're going to do the giveaway for the Icewind Dale Rime of the Frost Maiden. And then we will continue on to venture, and also we'll ask the question for you can chance to win this. Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. All thanks to Dublin City Comics for their continued sponsorship. Do check them out at dublincitycomics.ie. They have a full online store up there. You can check out all the stuff that they have available. They've also got a clearance section now, the stuff that they're have knocked down discount prices on as part of the sale. So do go check them out. Fantastic store. Support the local. Yeah, buy things. They're brilliant bunch of people, and really deserve your support at this very moment in time. So we'll be right back with our giveaway. We're going to go food up and take our pee breaks and do whatever we got to do, and we will see you shortly for the continuation of this particular installment of Pubcast for Dungeons and Dragons. Welcome back, folks. We have all had our food. We've all filled our bellies, and we are now back. We're going to continue with the quest now in a second, but first we're going to do our Dublin City Comics sponsored giveaway for Icewind Dale Rime of the Frost Maiden. So I have names written down here for the people that have entered. So the question was, what is the name of the drow who's generally associated with Icewind Dale? It's a famous drow within the realm of D&D. And the answer is Driz Do'Urden. We had a few entries in for this one up on the YouTube page, and I need, let me see now. Kim, roll a d6 for me, please.
Okay, can do.
Roll a d6.
There's a 1.
A 1.
No one wins.
Well, first at the top of the list is 1 second now. Sorry, I had it written down on this, and it's bloody well gone off my iPad. Number 1 on the list is Paul Fury. Congratulations, Paul.
Hey.
Yeah, Paul's number 1 at the top of the list.
Nice.
So congratulations,
Oh,
Paul.
number 1. You number 1, Paul.
Number 1, Paul. You'll win this Icewind Dale Rime of Frost Maiden. It go to you.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. So Paul, are going to be in contact with you very, very soon to get your details off you, and we're going to post this out to you. Next up, you could win, thanks to Dublin City Comics, a copy of Tasha's Cauldron. This amazing prize. Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. So the question that you have to answer is, what is the spell that is named for Tasha? Tasha has a particular spell that is named for her that people cast. What is the name of that spell? Okay.
And both Norman and Loran have it.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
So that is the spell. So please write your answer to that question in the comment section below on YouTube. Share the video, tagging Irish Pubcast on social media, be it on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. But you have to share the video, and you have to tag Irish Pubcast in it so we know you've entered. And write it below in the comment section.
And if you don't,
God damn it, this copy of Tasha's Cauldron of Everything could be yours. Thank you.
World, from one spell to an entire book. That's pretty cool.
So thanks to Dublin City Comics for their continued sponsorship. Check them out at dublincitycomics.ie.
Buy their stuff.
Buy their stuff. Great bunch of folks. And check out their website. Loads of deals on there. Yeah, so that's that. Thank you so much, guys. That's the prize. So without further ado, we're going to jump straight into back into the hole. So the group are back in Breshton. You are split up slightly. You have Codeine and Talazar are both sneaking ahead, scouting out the area, and you have the remaining of the group bringing up the rear. They've discovered some zombified townsfolk, as well as Codeine and Talazar also spotting the zombified crystalline townsfolk. So what we're going to start off with Codeine and Talazar still sneaking. Where are you going? What are you looking for? What are you doing?
So what do we see in front of us?
So you are kind of on the edge of the town square. You've hidden yourself kind of in behind some crates and some debris, with the kind of the red crystalline buildings all around you. It's a semicircular kind of, and then has kind of straight edges. The square is not necessarily a square, but it's got a circular section, then a straight, and then another circular section on the far side. But running right the way through the center of this whole town square is a large kind of opening in the ground, a large crack in the ground where the former townsfolk are mining the crystalline stuff from.
And
You
is
are-
there a
yeah.
is there a place that is there a particular common thread that they're walking or to take the stuff from the mine, so to speak, to where is there a very obvious place to where they're gathering all of this crystal?
Yeah, so over the large kind of crevasse where they're pulling stuff out, there are numerous makeshift bridges where you from either side you see the large groups of individuals kind of mining this crystal, and they're coming over the bridge, kind of going from on your field of view, going from right to left across the town square, heading off and then to the left and to the back of the town square. So there's another road that leads off the far kind of elliptical side that seems to go off into the darkness towards the other, kind of towards deeper into the town. At this point of the day, you're now looking at maybe 5 or 6 o'clock, so it's starting to get a bit darker, and the glow from the kind of the mining section is starting to kind of grow ever so brighter, like giving an eerie red glow over the townscape. But you do see the kind of little swarms of individuals lifting these large crystals from where they're grabbing them and bringing them deeper into the city.
Cody, do you think, before I even get to coding, is there any kind of structure or any kind of place where we can kind of maybe climb up and kind of like any roofs or any kind of broken roofs that we can kind of climb and kind of get a vantage point on what they're doing?
Roll a perception check, see if you make anything out that you somewhere you can go.
Will I do it too?
If you wish.
I rolled a 3 + 6, which is 9, but my passive would be 16. So
Sure.
Would you roll?
Cody, how much you get?
I rolled a 9 and I've got +7. So
Okay, so 16. So Talazar starts looking around, but Cody, you spot off to the left, kind of on the edge of the town square. You see a collapsed building that isn't overtaken by the red crystal, and there seems to be kind of beams and rungs are kind of collapsed in on itself as the roof is falling in, and it looks like a kind of a makeshift ramp. You could probably make your way up there, but you don't know what direction you could go in once you get up there, because as far as you can see around you, the majority of the buildings in this particular part of the town have some amount of crystal on them in some shape or form. So the thoroughfare when you get up there, you don't know what direction you'd be able to go in, but you know it would give you a vantage point to be able to look over.
And I think Talazar is looking for a vantage point. Talazar, are you bothered by these spiders? I'm worried. I'm not worried about the townsfolk now figuring out what we're doing. Could they be sentries? I mean, am I?
I'd be more inclined to know why they're mining and where they're bringing the crystals. The spiders themselves, they're as you say, they're sentries. They're just watchdogs. We should be careful of them, obviously, but my main concern is why they're pulling crystals out of the earth and bringing it somewhere. I need to know. I think we should definitely check out where they're bringing them.
You missed the early part of our adventure where we found out that they were just using these crystals to zombify the workforce and the general populace. So we tried to break that trade route, and that's when we uncovered the bigger picture. So I think while the red crystalline, I mean, look at this place, but I at this point, this is a fortress. The trade route of this feels unimportant at this point. We need to obliterate this whole town. It seems to me. So I don't mind going to look for a vantage point to do that from, but I would hate for our presence as non-zombified people to be brought back to whoever's running this operation by these 8-legged freaks. So
while the two of you are deliberating, you look kind of your passive perception, Talazar, kicks in, and you notice that coming into the far end of the town square, about 60 feet to your right. You just see nonchalantly walking up the group. You see Aratir, Ogun on top of Shelby, Norman and Loran as they're kind of making their way towards them. I don't know if you want to stealth or whatever you're doing, if you're being careful, but you're kind of you notice that they're making their way towards the outskirts of the town square.
I just nudge Codeine and I just point to where the rest of the group are. I'm still going to try and get a vantage point.
Okay.
Codeine, if you want to try and scan or keep an eye out.
Yeah, I might go to them.
Do you want me to do an acrobatics or anything to get up onto the roof?
Well, you make your way over there first.
Tom, at this point, why are you volunteering for more dice rolls? Given
have to roll the bad ones out.
Yeah, you do. When you get over there, you kind of notice that it's pretty easily scalable. You're not 100% sure of the structure of it, whether it's structurally sound, but you don't need to get acrobatics up there because it's pretty much a ramp, because it's a collapsed-in ceiling and that's kind of fallen in itself. And while on the right-hand side of the building there is like a kind of a crystalline section, this part of it is just all wood and brick, and you can kind of make your way up of it easily enough.
Cool. I'm just going to crouch down, kind of scoot myself forward, kind of just kind of wanted to see where the trail of the worker bees, so to speak, are going.
As you make your way up and you kind of perch yourself up on top of the building, kind of trying to take in your surroundings, roll an investigation check for me, please.
Oh, is that a 6 or a 9? It's a 9. That's not great. That's a 10.
10. You kind of trace, as you look down on the town square and you look up, you can't really see as they kind of disappear into the darkened road or pathway where they're walking up. You kind of try and trace it from your vantage points, looking over the buildings and the roofs, and a lot of the crystal entities are kind of doubled up on the sides of the buildings that were already there, so some of them are hard to see over. But you kind of guesstimate that they're heading off kind of in a northwesterly direction, and as you trace it up, you look up and you see that about 600 to 800 meters in that direction, you see this huge crystalline building, massive, with it's kind of like it's got a central section, but sticking out of it, then they have like tendrils that seem to be coming out and then going straight down, as if you can only imagine that they're like struts of supports that are embedded in the ground. But it's huge, and like you wouldn't have been able to see it from the ground, but you can definitely see it now from your vantage point. That it's, if you're correct in your estimations, that is where that road leads to. Okay. Energy crackles all over this structure. It's huge, and it's taking up, off in the distance, it's taking up a fair bit of the horizon, and you're kind of taken aback by the size of it and how it was so difficult. Like, you couldn't have seen this elsewhere. Like, even when you were coming into town, you hadn't seen it from where it is in the town, where the positioning of it would have been hard to see from a distance, given the massive red crystal that's all over the town itself. But this seems to be a central section now of where they're all going.
Okay, in that case then I'm going to hop off the building and just try and stealth my way back to the group.
Okay. So you make your way down. The group of now, what are the rest of the group doing at this point? You're kind of at the town square now at this point.
No,
I've headed back to them.
You've headed back to them, okay.
I'm going to fill Cody in on our encounter, or my encounter with the crystal zombies.
Okay.
And figure out what we're going to do next.
Right, so. So as you're all kind of...
If we don't have a plan.
Cool. So you're all kind of starting to gather in. Talazar's made his way back down. I think you're making your way over to them, are you?
Yeah, I'm stealthing my way over.
So everyone's regrouped. You're kind of at the edge of the town square, and the scene is unfolded in front of you. You can see everything. It's hustle and bustle, and none of the former townsfolk are paying any attention to you whatsoever. Right. They don't seem to be bothered by your presence. And as the rest of you now see this, as you're looking around, you see the crystalline spiders on the central buildings in this area,
How
and they're
far are they away
skittering
from
around. The closest building is like about 20 feet to your right. You have another building then 20 feet, 30 feet to your left. And all of the buildings in this square have these spiders skittering all over them. They seem to be kind of weaving the crystal together, forming the structures themselves.
Right.
And the energy in the air, the arcane energy in the air is just like, Norman, your head is pulsing. And like it was before, it's like, it's not a pleasant sensation, but you're kind of you're accustomed to it. It's that the planar energy is strong, like very strong, and you can actually start to feel the fabric between reality. It's very thin, and it's getting thinner the more you go into the town.
Can I ask Norman a question? Hey Norman, can we toast these knits or what?
I mean, just knock yourself out. They're just going to keep coming back. So.
Okay. All right.
I mean, there's a lot.
How quickly do they come back? And where would they be coming from?
I think we need to go deeper.
Like deeper underground?
Possibly.
Okay. Because I'm still in the van as it's going off the bridge.
Is that the van?
That's the van.
That's the van starting up.
So.
Right, so there's no point in taking these out. Okay.
I explained to the group. Sorry, Cody. Go ahead.
Go on ahead, Archer. Howser.
There's a structure, and I point that's where these things are leading and taking the crystals to, and I explain that there's this structure there with the struts and the arcane energy just pulsing out of it. Seems to be the epicenter of all of this.
So those things on the roofs, we don't like them. Those spidery things, right? Do we need a path kind of cleared to the structure?
I explained that if we follow the zombies, if we follow that path, we should get them. And if they're not paying attention to us, we shouldn't run into trouble.
Should we continue with stealth?
I would say stealthing would be the best course of action.
I can kind of clear a section of them away if you want.
Well, I didn't see any when I was up on the roof. I just know of the ones that we saw, myself and Codeine.
What I'm trying to say is, would it be if we start making our way towards the center of the town and that structure, will those spiders leave us alone?
I don't know, Ogun. I think if they see us, then they may think us hostile.
I might have a way of I can pretty much distract them and get rid of some of them so they don't.
Is Shelby hungry?
I think those creatures will give him indigestion. But I have something that might shock him or shock you guys if I do it. Just want to get the consensus of the group. Is it a good idea that they should be there, or should I try to get rid of them?
Well, I'm team get rid of them all the way. I just don't want to do futile things. So, if we're not all going to be killed by it, I'd say have a go. What do you think, Archer?
Well, didn't Norman just say they'd come back?
Yeah, so maybe not.
Not the individuals, more just there are so many of them that the ones that are slain will just be replaced.
Okay.
I think.
But by all means, if you want to start playing whack-a-mole, then go ahead, knock yourselves out.
No, moles are cool. Just these spidery.
Ogun, I think you should conserve your energy, and if we can sneak by them and the crystalline zombies, I think let's have at it. Save your energy and your spells for when we really need them if they decide to attack us.
Oh, this will last.
I can give us some cover that may help. I will say this though: we need to stick in a tight circle when we do it.
Okay.
All of you hear Loran just kind of go, "Oh, gross!" and he just like stomps on one of the spiders that was crawling on him.
Wayne, I am going to cast Fog Cloud centered on me.
Okay.
And cast it on the staff.
Grand. So you create a 20-foot radius sphere of fog centered on a point within a range. The sphere spreads around corners and is an area, and the area is heavily obscured. It lasts for the duration or until a wind or of moderate or greater speed, at least 10 miles per hour, disperses it. That's fine.
Yeah. So I'm concentrating on it. It lasts for an hour.
Yeah. So you're all standing there and you watch, like, just from beneath Talazar's robes, you just see this thick, soupy fog just pours out and envelops the group. And you can
Owen did that once as well.
this one
Different type
seems
of
to be
cloud.
odorless.
Mine was more natural.
Yeah, this one seems to be odorless and doesn't have that pungent, mossy aftertaste.
In fact, I think I did it during breakfast earlier. But anyway,
but you're you're able to see each other once you stick close together. But you feel like if you moved outside of your close circle, you'd be lost. As it spreads out in a 20-foot radius around you.
how tall is it?
20-foot radius sphere.
20-foot
20
radius,
foot
so it's a
above you.
sphere. So 20 foot in all directions. So are the group moving forward in the direction?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you make your way across the town square, kind of sidestepping, keeping away from the larger groups of these creatures that are mining the area. You follow the kind of, you start to follow them along, and even in the like as you're walking through, the streets are wide enough, but you kind of have to pass through large groups of them that are carrying these crystals, and the fog kind of envelops them slightly, and you're walking very close to them, and you can see the red crystals are just pulsing with energy, like boom, boom, boom. And that even cuts through the fog to a degree. But you're shielded, you're safe, and you make your way, starting to follow these creatures. You're walking for about 20-30 minutes and winding around, slowly but surely making your way, because these aren't moving at a very high, fast pace.
Yeah.
But you're sticking together. You come out into an opening, like kind of an opening at the end of a road, as the zombie creatures move off carrying the crystals, heading kind of off to the right hand side, and before you see this massive, even cutting through the fog, looking up through the fog itself, it's difficult to see it, but you can make out this gleaming red glow that is towering up into the sky hundreds of feet. It basically looks like it's like somebody got a giant red crystal egg and just jammed it into the ground, and all the ground around it is broken up and cracked, and there's huge like divots and cuts into the earth next to you, as it's uneven and broken. Red tendril veins winding their way through the dirt. These large spiked kind of struts that jut out from the side of this giant shape come out at an angle, and then at another, like, say, 45-degree angle, are pushed and burst down into the ground itself, seemingly holding this structure up. There's at least, from where you kind of see, if you're trying to make out through the fog, you're seeing at least 4 or 5 of these struts. There could be more. You're not 100% sure, and they seem to be just holding this in place. There is a gaping entrance at the front, and the kind of line of these ex-town folk are bringing in these crystals in through this large entrance. It's difficult to see now with the fog. It is hard to see much else, but you can make that out for sure. But the surrounding area is vast, and the ground is very upturned, and you're starting to feel like this seems to be the epicenter of all the chaos that's happening in Breshton, and it's a far throw from what the town used to be.
Yeah.
But with that fog in front of you, the 20 feet fog around you, while it shields you from everyone, it is also quite difficult for you to see through it as well.
Right.
So what do the group want to do at this point?
We're only gone about a half hour. So I don't know, how are people feeling about continuing on, maybe stealthing through, trying to see if we can break our way in?
Yeah.
Well, I don't like any of it, but at the same time, I'm not staying here by myself now because this is gross and awful, so I'll just follow you.
Loran, have you been inspired to play any music in the last while? It's been a long time.
Yeah, oh yeah, sure. I'll play a song right now, will I?
No, that's not what I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Codeine, you are really dreadful and I hate you. There you go. That's my song. Did you guys like it? Oh, inspiration for everyone.
I was wondering if there was inspiration, and there obviously is. So that's good. That's good.
Sure
Are you inspiring everyone, Loran?
Nope.
No? Okay.
I'll be honest, I've heard better songs from you.
Hogan.
Well, it was if you weren't even trying, but obviously you were because I heard you say those words.
Yeah, sure, I'll remember that one.
Wayne, I'm whipping out my flute and I'm just going to do a very simple ditty. And then after I've got the little kind of tune in people's heads, I'm going to go, Loran is the death of music, and put it back in my pack. And we're going to keep going.
Oh my god.
Ooh, Loran's like, ooh, good one. Stick to your day job if you had one.
I was kind of hoping that Loran would get when you hit your teammate, kick your teammate up the arse when you're playing sports. Yeah, because the way we all play sports. Anyway, you get them mad so they can't be nervous anymore. I was kind of hoping to kind of peak Loran a little bit before we go in here, but that's good. Sassy is good. Sassy Loran is good. So
not nervous, I'm angry.
Okay. All right. Press on. We'll get this thing.
I'd just be able to stroll on through, so this is a win-win.
Okay, that froze for me. The entire thing froze just after Codeine said, okay, let's go. So anything that was said after that, I lost.
Wasn't important.
Okay. So the group are going to press on. What do you want to do at this point? Where do you want to go? You have the main entrance that you can just make out through this thick fog. And it's just that's where the masses are going. So do you want to scout the area out? What do you want to do at this point?
Codeine, do you want to just step outside the fog, have a quick scan, and see if you can see any breakpoints that we can maybe not use the main entrance?
Can do. My investigation is not bad. So
okay. So Codeine steps out of the fog, literally just disappears out. You just see her kind of just her form just move through it, and then within 20 feet she's gone and you can't see her at all. So Codeine, you're outside the kind of the sphere of fog, and as you step out, you see a bit more of this entire area. It's a huge open space. It looks like they've cleared an entire section. Very drastic measures of clearing. It looks like whole buildings have been just completely obliterated and flattened. There are remains of townsfolk strewn across the ground. Some of them seem to have been flattened, completely squashed. There are just bodies strewn about the place. Off to your left, even though a lot of the debris and everything is piled high, you can see on your left that there are a large collection of what look like cages. And in them you see people. You see humanoid figures. You can't really make out who they are, but there seem to be humanoid figures, and next to them there's a kind of a larger group of the zombified townsfolk, and they're slowly but surely unloading the cages and bringing people down ramps and walking them towards another door into this giant kind of crystal building on the left-hand side. It's a smaller door, but they're fitting these individuals through there, and they're lining them up and kind of pushing them along, and that seems to be their purpose, and that's what they're doing. The cages roughly hold about maybe 50 people in total, and from where you are right now, you can't really get a good look at it. You look to your right and you see what looks like a large kind of, you have the debris and everything, but there's a large pile of remains and bodies, a mixture of the kind of zombified crystalline townsfolk, but also uncrystallized bodies. People like that seem to be they were dead previously and they were just dumped. And there's nobody really paying any attention to that side of the area, but the majority of the kind of thoroughfare is the main large opening at the front, and then that one side opening where it seems to be leading the prisoners in. There's a horrible stench in the air, like that sulfury kind of burnt smell. It just hangs, and you kind of look back at the foggy area that's behind you where the group are, and it's a case of like, is that us or is that everything here? And as you stand there more, Cody, and you're like realizing, no, this is actually here. This is the area. This is the way this smells, and it smells like pure death. It's absolutely horrible. And the you can't really see. Like I said, you can't make out the prisoners. You just know that there's like cages, about 6 or 7 cages with rows filled with people.
They're alive?
They seem, well, yeah, they seem to be for the most part, because they're being marched into the side of the building.
Hang on. They're in cages, but they're being marched into the side of the building?
They were being taken out of the cages by zombified creatures and then being led into the side of the building.
Okay, so they're going into the side of the building, which means there's an entrance. I'm going to get a little bit closer, Wayne, as sneaky as I can, and get a look at where they're going in.
Yeah, roll stealth.
Okay. Will do. Okay, that is 18.
18. Yeah, you very quickly make your way up and around the side, and you find yourself very, like, in a split second, just up next to, at the back of the cages. And there, you see, kind of look up, and you're hunkered down, and the people in there don't see you. And you rolled high enough that you're able to just stealthily move in, and you're hunkered down behind. You look up, and you can see in that there's no manner of different townsfolk, miners, but there's a couple also. You notice the people are in what look like entertainment attire, so like a circus or something. Like it looks like somebody in like coiffed shirts with large lapels, but everything's covered in dirt. Their faces in dirt. And everyone looks like they have this look of despair on their face. They're all looking towards this large, domed, crystalline building. They don't see you, but you see them.
Okay.
They're about 10 feet off to your right-hand side as you hunker down behind the back of the cage. You can see 10 feet off to the side. There's a group of zombified townsfolk, and they're kind of there as if to keep the kind of people in line. And they're keeping an eye on the cages to make sure. They seem to be kind of just looking solely at the cages and their inhabitants. Okay. As you're there, you hear a whisper. It's like, and somebody looks and it's like, "What are you doing?" And you look up, and there is a female face looking back at you, and it takes you a second, but you recognize her. Looking back at you, you see Melune Grell, the female wizard you had previously met as part of Cara Johnson's troop, the one who was creating or helped create the shield around Breshton during the siege.
Yes.
Her dirt-covered face is staring at you from inside the cage, inquisitively, like looking down, going, what are you doing, and why are you here? What? And she looks disheveled. Her face is cut, her clothes are in tatters, and she no longer has any of her accoutrements, pendants or staff on her. All have seemed to have been taken from her, but you can see that it is her from that stern looking face. She's just looking back at you, like inquisitive, like wondering what the hell's going on.
I'm trying to find an infiltration spot for this giant egg. Where are they moving these people to?
She kind of moves through the cage as other people start to turn and see you, and
so they're all alive too. They're not.
They're all alive. It's like it's a cage full of prisoners, and they all see you, and they're all milling about, and they're like whispers and stuff like that.
I'm going to give them the old keep it down.
Yeah, a bit of a commotion kicks in, and just you look over and you see ever so slightly that one of the zombified townsfolk is just slowly turning in that general direction. And she looks like, why are you here? We thought you were dead. We thought you fell into the mines.
No, we've got more insight into the situation now. There are crazy things happening, crazier than this even.
She kind of looks at you and looks around her and kind of looks a bit.
There's an even bigger mission, believe it or not. But you're gonna can everybody. I have a team. We want to find a way in. Can you tell us how we could What happens when you go in there? Do you come back out?
She kind of looks at her and she's like, you expect me to have information? I've been in a cage. And she looks over at the zombified creatures. She looks back at you. They are what happened.
Right. Okay. So the people that go in like you come out like this. Okay. All right.
Where have you? She's looking at her, she's like, if you're alive, where's Johnson? Were you captured? Did he escape?
Remind me, who's Johnson?
Carrot Johnson is the dwarf.
Carrots!
He basically helped you escape, but the last time you saw him,
Pour one out for carrots.
Yeah, the last time you saw him, you were falling into the mines.
Yeah.
During our very drunken Halloween episode.
Yeah.
And you fell into the mines. The last you saw him, he was fighting off the attack of the entity of the red crystalline swarm.
Yeah. Carrots may still be alive, I don't know, but my adventuring troop are here. I'm just doing a bit of recon. Look, I may have to go before they see me. But I just wanted to know where the entrance is. And if it was possible to get in here.
Are you here to help us?
Yes. How alert are these beings? How quickly can they change job? Are they effective sentries?
Yes, they are. They will attack you if you're a threat.
Okay.
If you're a threat to what they uphold and what they are here to do, they will attack you. And she kind of is now looking very wearily over at the one that's slowly turning in your general direction. Still very slowly turning in your general direction. Its perception rolls are garbage. So it's like the way in, and she points back at the doorway where they're bringing people into it. It's like, you go in there, that's where you go. It's either there or the main entrance where they're bringing in that red filth.
I want to ask you, is there a way of extracting this infection from these people without killing them?
They are already dead.
Okay. That's actually good to know. I'm sorry, Ms. Grell, for saying that, but I got to get out of here and get back and tell my people.
And she kind of like, you need to help us. I'm useless as I am. I've been stripped of my abilities. I don't have anything.
I'll be able to get you equipment.
I need components for spells. I don't know where they've kept it. They've taken everything from me. I was captured. And she kind of looks dejected.
Is there a way of me getting you out of here without causing a ruckus?
Bring the ruckus.
Like, I mean, the thing that the cages are cages. I mean, obviously a cage would have a lock and would you know.
Okay, I can pick locks.
So do you want to try and find the lock on this one?
You see, I don't want to draw massive attention, but I wouldn't mind getting a wizard out.
Wayne, how long has this been? Just so that I keep an eye, because I'm aware that we're coming up to the hour on the fog.
Yeah, it's not far off. You got about 5 minutes left on that.
I would know that's about it, so I'd let everybody know that we should probably start moving.
Yeah, and can you drop that whenever you want as well?
I can drop that at any point. Yeah. So
okay.
Like I suggest we're going to drop the fog and move.
Yeah. So while Codeine is doing that, what are the group doing? And like, is Talazar, are you dropping the fog? And
I dropped the fog because I know it's about to drop, so that we can actually get a better view.
Yeah.
I want to try and see where Codeine's gone.
Yeah. So the fog drops, and all of you then start to focus in the whole surrounding. It clears, the fog dissipates, and you then take in everything in front of you. You see the cages off to the left, you see the debris, and you see the carnage and the bodies. And you see the main entrance and the entirety of this structure. And it all unfolds, it starts to appear in front of you. And you now, if you can roll perception, anyone can roll perception here if you wish.
Yeah, I want to have a look around.
If you can spot where Codeine is at this point, because Codeine is all hunkered down.
If they can't see me from where they are, I'm gonna do a quick trot back to them before I try this.
25, Wayne.
25. Talazar, you spot her straight away.
Okay.
What did the rest of you get? 12.
I'm going to give this signal to Talazar to wait.
Talazar, you see Codeine signal to you to hold off. But you're all the group now are out in the open. While nobody seems to be paying you any attention right now in this vicinity, as the stream of the mining is been brought into the building, you are out in the open. You're not in cover.
Is there any alleyway, any kind of underbrush, anything?
It's an open area. There's multiple piles of debris because the buildings in this entire area have been completely flattened and destroyed. There's big think the Dresden bombings. Like, you're talking big piles of rubble.
If there's any kind of large enough to kind of hold the rest of us,
yeah, there's
that
like
we can hide behind. I'm happy to
both
just
to your left and your right. There's piles of debris and rock and rubble and wood and everything that you could just hunker down behind, no problem whatsoever.
I tell everybody to hide behind the rock. I Naruto run then to Codeine.
Okay.
No, I told you to wait. You're gonna fucking.
And as I get to her, I put my hand on her and I say, "May Cord's blessing be with you," and I bamf back. But when I touch her, I give guidance to her.
Okay, I need you to roll stealth before you do any of that.
That is a 10.
Oh. Yeah, the perception on these guys is fucking atrocious. I've been rolling 3s, 4s, 2s, 3s, 4s.
You keep rolling that. You keep getting them out of the way.
I'm taking out the big dice.
Are you sure you're rolling the right dice?
I'm rolling the small. This is the small dice, D20, and now I'm rolling the big D20.
Oh, it's mad now.
Okay, so.
Oh, I don't mean to be that guy, but they have the same numbers.
The bigger it is, the more numbers.
Okay. Now, so you managed to do that. You have been blessed by the bamfing monk as he Naruto runs back and forth.
So when
is
you
like,
roll,
fucking weeb.
when you roll for your pick lock, when you roll to pick your lock or whatever your next ability check is, you can add a D4 to it.
Whatever you're picking.
Nice.
Whatever you're picking, roll a D4.
Right.
Wayne.
Yeah.
So the description, like, there's a zombies picking up the red stuff and going into the gaping entrances. Then there's a side entrance where they're bringing in people to do something with. This is what we can see.
Yeah.
And there's a group of zombie guards. How close are they to Codeine?
So they're about 20 to 30 feet off to your left, at where the cages are. So they're about from where Codeine is, 10 feet in front of her is a group of about 4 to 5 of these creatures spread out, kind of keeping an eye on the cages, making sure nobody tries to attempt an escape. So far, their garbage perception rolls have seen fuck all.
Okay, considering I can't do this once we get inside, and what I'm seeing, I'm going to do this. I'm going to bring the thunder, Wayne. I'm going to cast Call Lightning.
Okay.
And I'm going to put this. If you read the spell, have you, and what it does? Every round I can bring down I can bring down a lightning down somewhere within. Well,
Over here. A storm cloud appears in the shape of a cylinder that is 10 feet tall and 60-foot radius. Centered on a point you can see within range directly above you. The spell fails if you can't see a point in the air where the storm cloud could appear. When you cast the spell, choose a point you can see under the cloud. A bolt of lightning flashes down from the cloud to that point. Each creature within 5 feet of that point must make a dexterity saving throw. A creature takes 3d10 damage on a failed save and half as much damage on a successful.
So what I'd like to do, to not make it obvious, is to bring down, like they'll hear the thunder and lightning above. Yeah. I want to bring down a bolt of lightning behind the zombies, but like near one of the buildings, so they think it's coming from there. And if they hopefully turn to notice it, then I'm going to bring down the second bolt on them.
Okay.
So then it's not giving the impression that it's us, if you get me.
Sure, you're like distracting them.
Yes,
but you're trying to distract them.
Yeah, but the second bolt's going to hit them because they're too slow to cop on, if you get me, Dylan.
Okay, so, so where are you aiming this now at this point? So they're right next to the cages. You're back by about 20 feet.
So I want to. The first bolt is going to be off near one of the buildings, so they'll.
Off to the right side?
Obviously away from Kim, like on the other side of the zombies, away from Codeine. Sorry,
Grand, so okay,
one
so
of those
there-
buildings.
right, so it's on the right hand side to where there's a big debris of buildings. There's no buildings as such, but there's like loads of debris
Yeah.
from previous buildings over there, former buildings, if you will.
Yes.
So you all are kind of, you see this happen as code on the back of the owl bear. You see Ogun's little paws twirl, and he kind of points, and a cloud formation starts to build just over the right hand side of this open area, and then the lightning hits the building, and it's just there's a spray of debris, and it kind of, the debris starts to hit the crowd of people that were moving in with the large crystal mining, the crystals that they'd mined, and they were making their way into the building. The spray hits them, and some of them are knocked and buffeted to one side, and a few of them look over. Then the ones over where Codeine is, yeah, okay, they all see it, and they all kind of turn and are looking at it. They're not really making a move as such because they're not focused on that. They're focused on the cages, but they turn and they see it, and they are turned away from Codeine at this moment in time. So they're not paying her any attention, but they're not making any move towards it. The line of the former townsfolk that were moving into the building with the mined crystals, they've been scattered slightly, and one or two of them are picking themselves up and are starting to slowly but surely make their way over. But the guards themselves aren't going anywhere near it.
I can do it each round, so
Okay.
Ogun,
So
what are you doing?
distraction.
That's not a fucking distraction. That's a fucking
Loran
call
looks
to
over and he's
arms.
like, "Are we doing distractions?
Oh no.
Oh, finally! I've been so bored."
what's Loran gonna do?
Loran's like, "Okay, I'll give us a good distraction. So we want everyone getting like super far away from this point, yeah? Like we want everyone going another way, right?"
Oh God. Okay.
I'm in the middle of like the spell, so
Wayne,
Cool.
out of curiosity, are any of them in a line?
Well, the people again queuing into the building, bringing the crystals. They will be a line of large groups of people carrying crystals.
Wayne, I'm just gonna message you something privately.
Sure.
Because it makes more sense, and also I need to type it.
So they don't seem to be distracted by the guards that are near Cody. Are not distracted by the lightning attack in any way, shape, or form. They look over, and their focus is diverted to that at the moment, but they're not moving in that general direction.
No, but they're looking over there.
They are, yeah. So Loran is doing something there now. Cody, what are you doing?
I'm gonna tell Melune Grell to make a kind of budge over to where the lock is on the cage.
Okay. She kind of looks around and sees that the guards are distracted, and she kind of pushes her way through the group in the cage, and she kind of, you see her beckoning you over to the kind of the far side of the cage, the opposite side of where you're standing, so around the front area of this rectangular cage, and she jostles towards the front of the cage.
Okay, I'm gonna pick the lock.
Okay.
There I go. Off I go.
So you make your way around.
Add a D4.
Yeah, add a D4 to what you're doing.
Yeah. What am I rolling for that? Because I'm just good at it. I can just do it.
Yeah, there is. Let me see now.
If you're, did you take expertise in thieves' tools?
I don't know if you did or not.
I have. Yeah. Let me just check my.
Because if it is, if you did, it's your dex modifier.
Dex
proficiency
modifier, and then +3 for proficiency.
But if you've taken expertise in it, it's double proficiency. So it's plus. So it's whatever your dex modifier is +6.
So I've got
plus D20.
So I roll
and a D4.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, I'm just looking it up here, and I was looking at the message that was it. So that's fine. So yeah, Codeine. So you roll for that and add the D4 to it as well. Double your proficiency.
And double my proficiency. So I'm going to. Okay.
Okay, saw that. Yeah.
Perfect. So that's that +6. plus
The D4.
rolling a D4, plus another 6 for proficiency. The +6 original plus 6 is my
So 16 plus 12. I'm gonna say you've managed to do it.
Yeah.
For sure. So what? Like literally in the split second, you like straight in, and the lock just falls off.
I've been stealing shit.
There was
stealing shit in my life.
You do unlock it, and there's a large thunk as the lock falls to the ground. And as the lock falls to the ground, because it's quite a large lock and it's too big for you to carry, it falls to the ground. And as that happens, you notice that the guards are starting to turn back.
Okay,
and
wait.
All of a sudden, out of nowhere, you hear the sound of fireworks. And you look over and you see Loran standing up and pointing at the sky. His hand aglow. And you look and you see in the sky, hey, big fucking loser, come get us, scrub. XOXOXO, and there's a big arrow sky written pointing down at the pile of debris where Ogun had hit the lightning strike. At that point, you think that as the guards are turning, they didn't hear the fireworks. They look back and they're all looking up into the sky, and they start to slowly shamble across to where the line of the mining townsfolk are, and are like looking inquisitively up at the sky as they just ever so slowly start to move away, not at a high speed. But Loran is pointing, and you see the explosions and the fireworks, and it's just literally, it looks like a party is happening over at whatever that pile of debris is. There's a party happening over there. And they are finally starting to move away. Okay.
I am going to take the wizard, and I say, anyone who can fight, come with us. We will come back for you, though. We're going to break up this operation. We will come back for you.
Meluna gets out and does join you, but as she does and she jumps down in front of you, more people start streaming out, and they just start to run. They just start to run, and they head off in the direction of the different alleyways and things that lead back into the city, and you don't see anyone else go after them. The skywriting is distracting everyone, and they just flee. Because these look like farmers. There's some entertainers involved in there as well, as if a circus had come to town at the wrong time and got dragged into this. And they just start to run. They're not listening to what you're saying. They're just getting out of there. And you see that then in the next cage over, there's people expectantly pushing themselves up against the cage, and they're starting to kind of rattle it a bit. It's a natural 1. That's okay.
Now I have a bonus action. Obviously.
2 of the 5 guards in the vicinity start to turn back as they hear the cages rattle.
So my bonus action to picking the thing is to dash.
Bolt. So you grab Melune and you get the fuck. You start milling around the back of the. Which direction are you going in?
I was gonna go back to my buds, but I don't know how wise that is now, considering that they've got a big arrow pointing at them. But I'm gonna head back.
Well, they don't have an arrow pointed at them. The arrow's pointed at the far side of this open area where there's a load of debris and rubble. So it's pointed in the completely opposite direction.
Oh, it's where Ogun put the lightning, not where Ogun is.
Yeah,
okay, perfect. All right, I'm gonna head back to the farm.
Okay. So you leg it back around with Melune. You arrive in, but the people in the previous cage are still like, "Don't leave us! Don't leave us!" And they're kind of rattling the cage.
Yeah.
And you're gone and you get back to where just in time to see those 2 guards turn around, and they kind of start moving over, picking up a bit of speed. One goes over to the empty cage, and the other one goes over to the cage where people are rattling, and you just see it rear back with its fist. And it slams it into the cage, and a pulse of red arcane energy shudders through it. And everyone inside is like, it's if they're shocked, and their bodies, they just fall down, twitching in the cage. The other guard has gone over and is inspecting the now empty cage, and is looking around, trying to see where everyone had gone.
Can I hit him with another ball?
It does not see anything, because it's fucking stupid. Roll the fucking 2. I got the 17 on the other 2 rolls, 2 on that. So you managed to get away. Melune in tow. You can see now up close to her as you have her next to you. She is disheveled. She looks, her clothes threadbare. She looks gaunt. You reckon she's been stuck inside that cage for a long, long time. Hasn't been fed in a while, and is very much a shadow of the previous of the woman you've met previously. But her eyes are pretty fair. She looks pissed off, and she's just like, "Thank you. This has been a living hell, and we need to make them pay."
Agreed. What do you need? I don't know what Talazar. We have a monk. We have Wolverine. They seem to have some sort of energy. We also have a Norman.
I'm a wizard. I know all of my magic from books. I need components. I need something to focus my energy through. I need a staff.
Okay.
They've all been taken from me.
To be quite honest, based on the look of you, you need a mortician. Perhaps you should just flee with the rest.
She kind of looks down at herself.
Whoever you are.
Because she's looking at you confused because she doesn't recognize who you are.
Likewise. So
yeah, I am not at my best, but I can still fight. I owe the townspeople that. We failed them. They were subjected to this. And she kind of looks dejected completely, like, and she just collapses, leaning against the debris.
I'm gonna ask. Can I ask Norman and Talazar if they have anything they could furnish her with? Just anything to get her some sort of. Sorry, I thought I heard a dirty laugh in there. Sorry. Anything they could give her to help her regain some sort of sense of self.
I cannot. My power comes from my arm and through, and you see a chain around Talazar with a small circular pendant that has 2 lightning bolts going across in a crisscross fashion, and this is the symbol of Cord. This is my focus, and my powers are more in the divine of nature rather than the esoteric nature of magic and arcane magic.
I'm going to turn around to Luna and say, do you think any spell books are intact in this area anywhere? Did they come for the things? Did they burn things down?
They took everything. They destroyed everything. It's him. It's that they serve him. It's, I don't know who he is. He took everything. He came looking for something and found all of this, and he created this. I'm right now. I just need a heal, and I need to go and find my books and find my stuff. It's somewhere. I don't want to hinder you.
Could I escort you? Is there anywhere you think you would go to look for those things?
Breshton is lost. I don't think there's anything here.
Okay. All right.
I think, and she looks really fatigued now at this point. The adrenaline that seems to have burst from seeing you and breaking out of the cage is very quickly worn off.
Okay.
Because she looks like she hasn't eaten or done anything of sustenance in a very long while.
Okay.
And
has Ogun got any waistcoat pizza?
Well, Wayne, I'm kind of annoyed at what I've seen about the zombie moving over and killing the rest of the, killing the people in the cage. So I'm going to bring down another bolt on the group of them, and then I have a small little piece of apple that isn't melty that I can give to her.
Okay.
Oh, so
nice. You,
I carry upon my person old horse meat.
Yeah, I wouldn't try that if I were you.
Okay, Ogun. So you're bringing the lightning and on the call lightning. So I gotta roll. It's a dexterity saving throw. These guys are about as dexterous as a brick. Oh, okay. What's the DC on that?
I'll tell you now. It's been a while since I cast an offensive.
Oh, actually, hang on. I have it here.
But yeah, you'd probably.
13.
Yep.
Okay. Right. So one of them manages to dodge it, so he takes half damage, but the rest of them didn't. So if you roll your damage there.
Oh, I've never. So that's 10, and then one more. Oh, 20. Woohoo!
So
20 total, 10 for half.
Grand. So okay. So you basically, while Ogun is handing over the apple, you just see Ogun's paw point over his shoulder, and is as this huge bolt of lightning strikes the area near the cages, as all of the zombie creatures in the vicinity get struck, blown through the air, some of them losing parts of their limbs and body parts and just getting obliterated. 2 of them get obliterated completely. The one that took half damage, he took 10. He gets knocked back and bounces off the cage and flops down, damaged and hurt, and his left arm falls off. But he's like, ugh. And you see them. The rest of them are just basically blown apart, leaving just one of them there, who slowly starts to pick himself up and then looks down and sees his arm and picks up his arm. As the damage hits and as the explosion happens, sirens start to ring out across the town.
Ugh.
You just hear this large wail,
Alex.
and the ground starts to shake like an earthquake. It's like the struts on the building retract and pull in. The entrances, just even if there's creatures moving in and individuals coming inside, the entrance just crushing whoever was in their wake. And you hear screams, and the prisoners start to run. The entire building shakes as the struts start to push into the ground, and the whole building starts to rise up as it elongates. 2 more struts pull up as this huge red crystalline spider erupts from the ground.
Uh-oh.
And is towering over the entire area. It moves forward, its large crystalline legs, pincers, flattening a building to your right. Debris showers you. You all have to run and duck for cover. The villagers that were there, that were captured, are running. The ones that are still in their cages, they're screaming as it's just... It is vast. It's at least 100 feet in the air. You just see the underbody of the carcass of the spiders moving over you, and you can feel the arcane energy rippling off it. Norman, the back of your head is spinning. The planar energy in this area is just knocking you like for 6. You're just stumbling against the debris and falling down. It just moves off, and you hear.
Can I hit it with a bolt?
You can do what you can. Definitely try and hit it with something. It's just moving off away from you, deeper into the city. The sirens are still wailing. You see that now that there's more. The line of creatures and zombies that were lined up, that were moving, have dropped all of the mind crystals, and there are now at least 20 of them that have turned in your general direction. They're slowly starting to shamble towards you. I need everyone to roll initiative.
So 20.
12.
Okay, 1 sec. I'll get it all off his now.
Yeah. Hashtag boss fight.
Okay. 25 to 20?
20.
20.
What's your dex, Ogun?
13. Mine's probably gone before me.
Yeah, mine's 18.
Grand. So Talazar, Ogun, 20 to 15?
19.
19. 15 to 10?
Loran comes in at 13.
13. The zombies
12
completely
for
ride forward.
codeine.
Okay.
I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Cody. Okay. Where's Norman?
6.
6. Norman is last. Okay. So, and Tom will be back now in a second. Right, so. Just wait for Tom to get into this.
So that whole time, the giant egg we saw was actually its abdomen sticking out of the ground.
Yeah.
Its big spider butt.
Yeah.
Ugh. Had a door in its butt. Oh, I suppose.
We're going to go in there. We're just closed and at us.
I thought it was exit only. Lol. Seriously. You kick me off this Zoom.
We all have doors in our butts if you try hard enough.
Yeah.
That joke will stick with me for a while.
Will it?
Like webbing.
So yeah, that's quite the visual, really. So it's an iceberg spider, where most of it is under the ground.
Yeah.
Now, how are we doing?
So, top of the round, Talazar, what are you doing?
What am I doing? I'm now with my. Can I see them? How many of them are in a line?
You're talking about they're all starting to kind of move around in a large group, and they're lining up in front of you. There are about 6 or 7 of them that line up for you in front of you, and they're about 20 feet away at this point. They are
Is the spider with them?
The spider is the spider's vast. The spider is moving off over you. It's currently over your position, and you're kind of in its shadow as it's moving over you. It's a huge crystalline entity.
We are but the buzzing of flies to Vigo.
Pretty much.
So what I want to do is, if I can, I take the staff from behind my back and I aim down sights, basically, praying to Cord. And what I want to do is a lightning strike.
Yeah.
Whereby basically I can hit as many of them that are in a line that's 120 feet long.
Okay.
It's a 5 foot wide line.
Yeah.
Anything that's in 120 within the range of 120 feet.
Okay, you've got about, in total then, if you're 120 feet, you've got about 10 of them in that line.
If that includes the spider, brilliant. If not, then that's
fine. The spider, like I said, the spider is fucking huge.
Okay,
you are like ants to this thing. It is above you. You are underneath its body. Its legs are around you. You're underneath it. It's like, think Luke underneath the AT-AT walker in Empire.
Spot on. Then what I want to do then is do that, hit about 10 of them. They all need to make a DC 17 dex save.
Did you say, yeah?
Yep. I need to roll 9d6.
Jesus.
1, 2,
None of them made it. They all failed.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Jesus.
6, 7, 8, 9.
Nora. One off the table.
2, 3, 6, 10, 15, 17, 23, 24, 25, 26,
Okay.
27, 28, 29 total lightning
29
damage.
total. You all watch as Talazar stands and points the staff out. What arm are you holding it in?
It would be my cleric.
Right.
Robotic.
So you see, like in his kind of like his porcelain-esque arm, and his staff is extended out. You see a bright beam of energy just twist and turn around the arm and out through the staff, arcing outwards and catching a line of zombies, 10 in total, as it arcs through them. As it hits each one, slowly but surely, the heads just expand and you see a line of heads just popping off the shoulders of these creatures, and they just drop in a slump as 10 of them instantly die from that hit.
For my bonus action, I want to then cast Healing Word on the wizard.
Okay.
So she heals for 7 points of healing.
Okay.
So when I said, can anybody do anything for the wizard? The answer was yes, not no.
I didn't even get to answer.
Yeah. So that's the end. That's the end of Talazar's go. It's now into Ogun.
Right. Now the call lightning spell, is that a bonus action to bring down another column, or is that pretty much me done for casting more spells if I have to concentrate on it?
You can cast other spells that aren't concentration.
So it's not. So that's concentration, but you can cast other things. So you have. Let me see now. You've like cantrips and stuff like that you can cast, or you've produced flame that is not concentration. Thunderclap is not concentration. So anything that's not concentration, you can do that.
Now, if you're sorry to jump in, Wayne, but if you are concentrating, if you're concentrating on the call lightning and it's a bonus action to call down the lightning strike,
Yeah.
if you use that bonus action, the only thing you can cast as an action is a cantrip.
Yeah.
Whereas
that's why I said the cantrips rather than the spells.
Okay, cool. Right. So that'll be Right. Well, then I'll do a call lightning and I'll do with the cantrip produce flame then.
Okay. So so you're bringing the lightning to the front. So you previously had about 20 or 30. That number's been reduced by 10. So you're down to about between 10 and 15 zombies are now left roughly in front of you en masse. They're kind of moving and jostling in front of you. So you're aiming the call lightning at that particular area. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
That's okay. So it's a dexterity saving throw of 13.
Damage. So 5 points. So 14.
Okay. 7 of them manage to evade, so they take half damage. So roll your damage.
It was 14, say, for half. So
14 for half. So half of them, they get hit by the lightning, and the body parts get blown off. Large chunks get taken out of them. You see them all stumble, and then the other half, it was 14. So it was 20. What was it in total?
No, it was total 14. I rolled.
Total of 14. All right. So you see the large blanket of individuals get hit by lightning again, and they all get damaged. They all get hurt, and you see chunks of body come off, but none of them fall. And then you wanted to do your bonus action, was it?
Yeah. Produce flame then.
Can you do a bonus action?
Well, that's what I was. If I have to concentrate on this.
But you don't have bonus action, so only you do have a bonus action. Hang on. So
call lightning is the bonus action.
Bonus action is call lightning. So yeah. So you can cast a cantrip. So you can have. You wanted to produce flame.
Produce flame, then yeah.
Grant.
So this is the first time I've done.
Now, all this does is just it's not a damage. You're just basically creating flame. So you're basically putting your hand out and there's a flame there. That's all that does.
No. It's a ranged attack and then I get the 8 damage.
Oh yeah, you can also attack with the flame, although doing so ends the spell. And when you cast a spell or as an action later, you can hurl the flame at a creature in 30 feet, making a ranged attack on a hit that takes 1d8 fire damage. So roll for attack.
Yeah, I rolled a 3, so no.
3. That you fire the flame out and it just goes wide. All the crackling lightning just disperses and the flame just zips right through it. It actually goes through an open rib cage of one of the zombies straight through and just burns into the ground. So that's the end of Ogun's go. It's now into Aratir.
Just before that, in case it wasn't clear, I would have moved out into the open to do that, so the zombies can see me out in the open.
They can pretty much see all of you at the moment.
Okay, yeah.
So Aratir.
What's the volume of zombies down to now?
So there's still on luck you've got about 15 zombies left there in front of you.
Trying to decide whether I want to hit the zombies or whether I want to try one of the legs of this spider, and the action of having to think.
I'll just clarify, this spider is fucking huge. The legs are massive.
Okay.
So like this is a giant kaiju that is standing over Breshton at the moment. You are like that to it. It is huge.
Okay.
So
you're like bug.
So zombies it is then.
Yeah.
The action of having to think has actually put me in a bit of a rage.
Hey!
Rage! And so I am going to take my trusty berserker battle axe.
Yeah.
And I am going to charge at the nearest group of zombies.
Okay. Aratir rushes in, so you're going to swing. Are you aiming for one particular one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so just roll to attack.
14.
14, that definitely hits.
Would you like to chop my legs berserk?
Okay, and I'm using the virtual dice here. Slash of damage of 9.
You cleave into the zombie. Your blade just embeds itself in it. You take a large chunk of its midsection out. It just sloshes to the ground. a mixture of greenish, bluish ichor and the red crystalline, like mixed in as it just sparks and splashes as it hits the ground. The zombie kind of stumbles backwards.
And as my bonus attack, I'd like to do an armor spike attack.
Sure, yeah, that's fine. You rear back and just whoop, straight into it. Some roll for attack.
8.
8. That just hits.
Okay.
So roll damage 1d4 plus 4.
That is a 6.
A 6. So you got what? You got 14. What was it you get in the first attack, damage wise?
Shite. Sorry, I rolled the virtual dice.
It's okay.
You
It
got a
didn't show up for
5,
me.
didn't you? You
No.
No, that was the one before.
Apologies, it didn't show up on the virtual dice. Didn't show up on the screen here.
Oh, shite. Sorry. I thought it was
It was like an 8 or a 9 or something.
yeah, I
wasn't
thought it was an 8 or a 9.
it?
Yeah, it was
So you
a
barge
5
into
plus
it.
3. It was a 5 plus 3 with a berserker.
Yeah,
Grand,
yeah.
so you got 8 grand. So you barge into it with your shoulder. The spike's embedding itself into the kind of the midsection. You pull it out, and a large sucking sound as the chest of the creature just bursts, and it stumbles backwards and falls on its ass. It then tries to pick itself back up, just about, kind of slipping on its own goo. It's alive, but just barely.
I'm gonna retreat a little bit.
Cool.
And roar at them.
And roll it. Nice, I like it. The zombies are going to move in on Talazar because you're the closest to them, and you've got 2 in on you, and they're going to take. Well, the first one's going to take an attack on you, and that is 11 to hit. That doesn't hit. No.
That doesn't hit.
No. Second one, that is 13 to hit.
That doesn't hit.
Look, they just swipe, and you manage to just duck out of the way. Another 2 are going to come in and jump at Ogun, who's sitting. You're sitting on the top of the owlbear, aren't you? Still,
Yeah.
Grand. 2 of them are going to go for the owlbear.
Oh, fuck you!
That is a 20, but not natural. On the owlbear, so they tried to bite in on the owlbear.
So they hurt him.
And that is
Or Shelby.
Better not.
so.
Doesn't even know who hit him. He keeps on going, whoo, whoo.
So what they.
Oh, God.
Oh,
No.
man.
It
Take
hits
a dad point, Darren.
the first zombie hits the owlbear for 7 bludgeoning damage. The second one's gonna refin, trying to grab you off. That's not gonna. That's an 8 to hit, so that misses completely. 2 more are gonna rush forward. They have the movement is very, very slow. It's only 20 feet, so they're gonna get. 2 of them are gonna get to Aratir. They're gonna take a swipe at you. That is a 21, not natural to hit.
Yeah, my AC is 18.
Okay, so that hits.
That hit.
First one hits you for 3 points of bludgeoning damage. Second
How
one
dare
rolls a 13, so that misses.
Yeah, fuck off.
So that's 6 in total of attack. The rest are kind of bringing up the rear. They're not just there yet. They're about to get to you. One more is going to go for Talazar. And that is a 17 to hit.
That hits, and when he does so, a pulse of lightning energy just pulses out from the center of where his focus is and hits him. So he needs to make a dexterity saving throw after that.
I got a 5.
That's a failure. So you roll your damage.
He hits you for 6 damage. Bludgeoning.
Cool, and he takes 7. He takes 8 points of thunder damage.
As he hits you, bludgeoning, he gets knocked back as it's just arcing with electricity all over its body. The rest and the remainder of them are still kind of trying to get close and bring up the rear. That's the end of that. It's now into Loran.
Okay. Yeah, Loran is just like Loran is just stepping as far away from this as like he can get, because he wants no part of what's going on here. But as he steps away, before he does, he is going to use Thunderclap.
Thunderclap, okay.
Into whatever the tightest concentration of zombos is.
Yeah, there's a kind of a group that are bringing up the rear that are about 30 feet away from you, and they're just slowly but surely making their way towards you. It's kind of the arse end of the group of these 15 zombies.
So how
There's
many
about-
of them?
There's about 7 of them there.
Okay, okay. How many of them would you get in a 5-foot area?
They're pretty clumped together actually, so you'd probably get all of them.
Sure. Well, that means that they all have to make a Constitution 15 saving throw.
Okay, and they've got really bad. Oh no, they've got good con. Okay, hold on. Fail. Success. Fail. Success. Fail. 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 That's one more. Fail. So there's 2 successes and the rest were fails. So
Okie doke.
what's
So the fails all take four. All of the fails take 9 damage.
9 damage? How is Loran casting it? Is it like is he just stepping forward and just?
Oh, when it's a thunderclap, like he literally is like.
Oh, right, okay. So with the like, he's just a wave, and I think once the fail, take half that, yeah.
No, they don't take
They
anything.
don't take anything. So
No.
the 5 of the 7 kind of are impacted and pushed back, and you see their bones start to break, and sections of ribs pop out of bodies, and pus starts to ooze, and there's a crackling of the red arcane energy as they're pushed backwards. Okay, that's the end of Loran's go. You want to
No,
move
it isn't.
anywhere? Oh no, it's not. Okay.
Yes, he is now going to use his full movement to go in the opposite direction of the zombies.
That makes sense. So Loran kind of books it back and kind of, I take it, hides or something.
Yeah, he just stands as far back as he can.
Cool.
He's not having any of that.
Okay. Now it's into Cody.
Okay, I'm going to use my short bow on the first one, the closest one.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to try and do it again for my bonus action.
Sure. So roll to hit.
Okay. Okay, it's a 10.
That hits. Roll for damage.
Okay. And roll for damage. That's 6 damage.
6 damage.
Yeah.
So in the vicinity, this would have been the ones that have been hit before. So you just thump, and the bow the bolt just sticks straight into one of the eyes of the creature. It twitches, and then just like boom, drop dead on the ground. That's the
Peaky
first one down.
blinders, bitch.
Just. So that's one more down. So you want to go again?
Yeah. Okay. Let's do this. Oh, it was nearly cocked, and it's a virtual dice.
Nice.
The screen. Okay, that's a 10 again.
10, that hits again, yeah.
And I'm gonna go for piercing damage. That is 8.
8. Again, one of the other creatures that Loran hit with the thunderclap, and it just and through, and you see it pierce out the other side. It kind of careens, and it's like it's lost its balance, like its nervous system has been pierced, and it is careening. Just starts walking into a zombie at the side, and then falls flat on its face, and it's just twitching in the ground. It seems alive, but just barely. It kind of starts to move and trying to pull itself back up. Do you want to do any movement, or are you okay where you are?
I'm okay where I am.
Okay, Norman.
Storm and Norman.
Okay. Just for my own benefit, just paint me a word picture of what's going on with the kaiju over our heads.
So it's slowly moving away from you. It's kind of turned, and you can see the back end of it as it moves away. The legs are kind of twisted out, and I'm starting to stomp down on all the buildings around you. The arcane energy that's coming off it is immense, as red crackling energy just siphons down into the ground as it stomps. The nearest leg to you is about 60 feet to your left, as it's come down on top of one of the buildings, but it is starting to make its way off into the distance, or at least it's going to try, because this has only been one round of combat.
Yeah.
If you look up at it, you just see its undercarriage is just literally rippling energy, and the crystalline form it's not so much cracked, but there are divots and eddies in it that are like just flowing, and you can see just where the legs meet the body part, but they look like they're just floating around on the outside, and they're connected by energy. As a kind of a reddish and bluish energy kind of jostles around its arse end. But it's right above you. You are right below it, and its shadow is cast over the entire area. Like you only saw a bare minimal part of it, and it was a pretty massive construction that was buried in the ground. But it was like compared to what's now out in the open, it was small, but now it's fucking huge.
Yeah, like obviously, it looks spidery. But how big is it roughly? Would I be able to tell?
Looking up, roll a perception check just to see if you can kind of guess.
It's a 19.
19.
So...
From end to end, you're probably looking at it's about 300 feet from end to end. The legs are about 90 to 100 feet long, but they're bent as it's walking. It is massive. It is absolutely massive. It shadows over a large portion of Breshton, and you are right below a section of it. And like between each stride, its feet are about 120 feet apart easily. But it is huge. It is absolutely huge.
And with all that energy and stuff rippling off of it, and kind of how that is making Norman feel, I want to. I think Norman wants to get up close. He wants to touch that.
Okay.
I cast fly.
You cast fly. Okay.
Yeah. On myself.
On yourself.
You've been able to fly this whole time?
Nope, I've only been able to fly for 2 levels. But yeah, I cast fly on myself. So I'm gonna levitate on up there.
Cool. So what's the distance? So your travel distance?
I can do 60 feet standard around.
Okay, so you head up 60 feet straight up, and you kind of you get to a knee joint, basically just above a knee joint as you're floating above it. You all look, from what you can see as it happens, because you're all fighting, Norman just goes straight up next to one of the legs, and he's there hovering just kind of around the vicinity of the top part, just on top of where the knee joint is, as the leg is moving. Is there anything else you want to do?
I'm gonna just try, I suppose for now, I'm just gonna try, because that would be my action, so I am just gonna try and keep pace with it.
Okay.
Because like I want to get on it at some point.
Okay. That's fine. So you keep pace with it, kind of hovering beside it. The fight below is gone. Like you're out 60 feet up, straight up from it. And you're not paying any attention to it. So that's the end of Norman's go. We're now back to Talazar.
Spot on. So what have I still got the 2 zombies around me?
Yeah.
Cool. I am going to look them both in the eye, smile wryly, and swing the staff to try and crack both of them in the head.
Okay.
I can attack. So that'll hit. That's 19 plus
that definitely hits.
7. No, it's actually 19 plus 9, so 28. And the other one, let's see. Can't even read this bloody die. That's an 11 to hit on the second one.
That hits as well, yeah.
Cool. So that is a D8. I'm using both hands.
Yeah.
And on the first one, I hit him for 8 damage.
Okay.
And the second one, shitty, I hit him for 7 damage.
So
7 bludgeoning.
Crack. You kind of knock into the heads of each of the things and rocking them from side to side as they kind of reverberate off the pole. And you see like the side of the head just is mush and it caves in. And the one that you hit for 8 just kind of careens and just goes and hits the ground. The other one is kind of stumbling back. And it gestures up towards its head, which is just like right by its temple is just caved in, and one of its eyes is just hanging, and it then just stumbles forward towards you.
Cool. For my bonus action, then I'm gonna go pop, and hit him with some. What the fuck is the name of?
Which one? Flurry of blows.
Yeah, flurry of blows.
So
I'm gonna use a key point to hit him with flurry of blows.
Okay, so roll for attack.
2 more attacks, 2 kicks, so that is 15 to hit in the first one.
That definitely hits.
And that is a 20 non-natural on the second.
Okay, that definitely hits as well. So roll
So-
damage.
That's 6 on the first. And that is 9 on the second.
So you could have put the staff to one side and just out with one hand, where the damage already was in its head. You just keep hitting it in that spot, and the head just turns to mush as it just keeps getting punched in that area, and it just crumbles to the ground dead. Do you want to move?
Yeah, I'm just what? So who's around me? Who's near me?
So Ogun is off to your left, and has 2 zombies on him. Aratir is just slightly behind you to your left, and then Codeine is off to a left again, standing not too far from Malune, and then Norman is straight up, and Loran is nowhere to be seen.
I trust Aratir to look after herself. I give her a curt nod, and I go and try and protect Ogun and the owlbears.
Grandson. Okay. So it's the end of your go. It's now into Ogun.
Wayne, on a side note, do you want me to roll initiative for the owlbear or just?
Please do, actually. Yeah, I forgot to ask that. Please do. Yeah.
Sorry,
yeah.
I forgot. Right, so he is. I rolled a nat 20 plus.
Okay.
Why can't I get that? Plus 1 for his dex.
Okay, the owlbear has gone to the top of the order. So all I'm going to get you to do is I'm going to get you to attack for the owlbear now, ahead of your turn, and then you can go.
Right, cool. So I'll do. He has a beak and a claw. So I'll do the beak first. Okay. That is 25 to hit.
That definitely hits.
And then that is the damage. What's D10? Okay, Jesus. That is 8 points of damage with the beaky.
Cool. It's like you just see Shelby just streak out with his, and he just rips into the central part of one of the zombies' bodies and just tears. And you see green flecking intestines with red crystal flick through the air and flop onto the ground as it stumbles back. You can actually see far back into its body, its spine is exposed.
Good owlbear, but don't eat it. And the claw. No, that's a 10.
10 that hits.
Oh, cool. And that is okay. This is so 2, 4. So 9.
9. That it just reaches out with the claw and there's a blur of fur and feathers as the claws just tear across the top part of the now disemboweled zombie, and the top part of the body flies across the battlefield. The legs are just left standing there, and then they just to the ground. So that's 1 ex-zombie. So you're down that. Okay. Now it's you.
I'm gonna cast Bark Skin to protect myself because I won't do a call lightning this round. I'm gonna cast Bark Skin. So loads of I get covered in wood and spikes.
Yeah, you like.
I'm 16 now, so
you kind of like you see Ogun just go and just basically his fur gets pushed out, and you see this like and it's like Groot is bursting out of his skin just to sit underneath it, and his little Wolverine head is sitting there, and he has all this armor on him, and he has like American football shoulder style pads that are there but have spikes on them as well, made of bark and wood. Okay, so that's Ogun's go. It's now into Aratir.
I first of all want to apologize as well, because the last time the crystal zombies attacked me, I'm supposed to do a DC with a wisdom throw because I have first weapon.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, because it says whenever a hostile creature damages you while you're in possession, you must succeed on a DC 15 wisdom saving throw or go berserk.
Nice.
And while going berserk, I must use my action each round to attack the creature nearest to me.
Yeah, that's grand. I forgot about that.
So, will I take it that I'm berserking? That's different to raging, though, right?
Berserking. So it's it does it have the description there in the weapon?
No, it just says if.
So it's a berserker battle axe. So whenever a hostile creature damages you, DC, so you are berserk until you start your turn with no creatures within 60 feet. So you have to attack. So without choice, you can't pick and choose who you attack. You just attack the nearest creature to you.
Yeah.
So the thing about it is that while berserk, you must use your action each round to attack the creature nearest to you with the axe. If you can make extra attacks as part of the attack action, you use those extra attacks, moving to attack the next nearest creature after you fail your current target. If you have multiple,
if I kill my current target in my go,
yeah,
and I have to move to the next one on my bonus action. If that one is fucking Codeine or Loran, is it, like, could I potentially attack my team, or it's just creatures that are attacking us?
as far as I'm aware, it's just creatures. It's not your team. As far as I'm aware, it doesn't say anything about teammates.
Grant,
it just says creatures you are attacking.
Grant, perfect. Okay, well,
that's the way I'm going to play it anyway, because I don't want this to turn into a fucking slaughter fest.
No, I think because from reading it, like older versions of it had it killing everybody, anything, but now since it's more safer.
Yeah, it doesn't say like anywhere here that you attack friend or foe. It just says creature. So I'm taking that means foe. So so you have to roll your DC where you've been damaged. So if you want to roll your wisdom saving throw, you can now and see if you are berserking, and then you can attack appropriately after that.
I rolled an 18.
Great. So that's a succeed.
I'm not
to kill your friend's berserker.
So roll to attack. Whoever you want to attack.
I'm gonna use the berserker battle axe again on the nearest foe, and I rolled an 18.
That definitely hits.
And for damage, I got a 6.
6. You strike out with the battle axe and you just cleave this zombie in half. It just the top part of the body flips up in the air and the legs crumple to the ground. The top part just flipping and landing in a pile of red arcane energy and ooze. The second zombie moving towards you as you do this. As this is happening, the sirens stop around you, but the zombies are still approaching. There is a large, what sounds like a sonic boom. It's like, and the air is just sucked out of your lungs around you as well. Norman, you feel you're up 60 feet in the air. You kind of feel like you have to fight to stay up there as you get pushed back ever so slightly. Mm-hmm. You all look then at the center of the area where this large creature, the crystal spider, had pulled itself out of the ground and was starting to move away. From the sky, you just see, and this individual just not even with impact, they just land in a billow of cloaks and long silvery hair. And as the cloaks part, a staff protrudes and plants itself on the ground. And then you just see standing in front of you the blue-skinned form of Dillis Quaval stares you all down.
Hashtag boss bye.
It's pretty impressive that he's staring us all down.
He's looking around at all of you and this horrible stare on his face, anger plastered across, and he's like, "How dare you? How dare?" And he's barely out of his second way of saying dare when something hits him from the side as he gets pushed into a pile of rubble. And in a blur, you see, transforming from a large eagle, the form of Festivus, as he lands into the battle. And he's like, "Yes, you piece of shit. We dare." And that is where we're going to end this month's episode of Pubcast Plays Dungeons and Dragons. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to pick it up right in the middle of this fight on the next episode, so we're going to jump straight back into it. We hope you've enjoyed it. We've had a lot of fun getting back. We're back. And we'll be back again next month. Look after yourselves. Don't forget to enter the competition. So down below, please type in the name of the spell that's named for Tasha from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, and share the video on social media and tag Irish Pubcast. Thank you to Dublin City Comics for their sponsorship. Yep. We hope you've enjoyed this episode. We hope you will continue to join us on these. We've had a lot of fun doing this. We're glad we're back doing it as well. So I've been your DM. Thank you to the group. Thank you to everyone who's jumped along with this.
Thanks, Wayne.
And
Thanks,
we will
Wayne.
see you all again back here next month. This episode it will be up on our YouTube channel, and obviously because you're watching it on our YouTube channel, so you know it's up on our YouTube channel. So check us out. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and tell your friends all about us. And then if they decide to like us or not like us, that's perfectly fine. But we hope you've given a couple of hours of escapism in this world of Dungeons and Dragons, and we will see you next time on Pubcast. Bye.
Good. Bye.
And we're out.
Yay!
Okay.
So that was great fun.
Right, so folks, I'm gonna jump because I'd left a ham cooking on a pot 2 hours ago and I have to take it off. So
Wow.
but yeah, I will talk to you all soon. I'll get editing on this over the next day or two, and hopefully it'll be up on the YouTube channel by midweek of next week.
Thanks,
All right.
guys.
Thanks again, guys.
Stay
Good to
safe,
see you
guys.
all.
It was good to play again, and yeah, sure, I'll talk to you. All right.
Yeah.
Stay safe. Bye bye.
Tell Naomi I said hello.
Yeah, tell Naomi we said hi.
Hugs for Naomi.
Bye.
All right.